want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right. Y'all know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Illegally selling water without a permit
On my property.
Whoa! Hey!
Give us your right.
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
So we ran up against another Karen Gregg in a convenience store. And let's just say, Reese, she got a little bold. She got a little loose with the language. And Erica, let's just say she met Layla Ali.
I'm not here, Karen. My husband is right there with his black ass.
I'm 20
Okay, I don't give
years.
no fucks.
All I said was excuse me.
The fuck? Watch your mouth. Watch your fucking mouth.
I said excuse
Okay,
me.
I said excuse me, and you got to have a room with me. You got to have a room with me. All I did was talk past you.
That's your
All I did
damn
was talk past you. You start talking about your black husband. I don't give a fuck about your black husband.
Excuse me.
Just because you suck black dick don't mean you're not a racist. You just suck all of it. You can call me a nigga all you want to. Bitch, I'm not fucking ass in this store, bitch. Call me a nigga again. Call me a nigga again. Call me a nigga again. Say the word nigga, bitch. I'm the right one. Try it. That's what the fuck I thought.
I said
Watch your fucking mouth.
excuse me.
The wrong nigga. I'm the wrong nigga. I beat your ass in this motherfucking store. I will beat your ass. Say nigga again.
Nigger.
You didn't hear what the fuck I just said, bitch? You didn't hear what the fuck I just said, bitch? Bitch, that's the, I'm the right.
You got it.
Let me go. Let me go. You better let me go. I'm gonna hit your ass again. You better let me go. You better let me go, bitch.
Hey, she's down.
Let
She's
me
down.
go.
I'm sorry to get in the middle, but she's down.
Let me go. 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 Keep calling me a nigger and let me go. The fuck? Weird ass bitch.
I said excuse me.
I come to this bitch all the time. Bitch, I'm the right one. Call 911 and tell them.
Call 911 and tell them, Reese.
Boy, you notice she had the nerve to sit up there and say, all I said was excuse me. No, bitch, you called her the N-word and she mollywopped you as she should. And to the bystander talking about, I hate to get in the middle of it, but she's down. So what? Knock her down some more. Because people need to learn. I'm tired of all these docile videos going viral where people let these white folks talk to them any old kind of way and everybody applauds them for how gracious they are and, oh, you were so poised and, oh, you just kept your composure. No, sometimes you need to knock some sense into some of these folks. And she got the sense knocked into her that day.
Greg, we keep warning them. Y'all gonna run up against the wrong one, And it ain't gonna end well.
Brother, in July 1919, Claude McKay published his poem, If We Must Die, Let Us Nobly Die. And when she says, call 911 and tell them, she's saying, you crossed the threshold where I don't even care about any consequences. Call whoever you want. And like you said, like we've been saying now for years at this point, you've been running crazy ass white people. She said the thing we always say, one day you're going to roll up on the right one. She said, I am the right one.
Right.
I mean, but there's so much going on in that video, brother. I mean, the ironies. Here, this white woman is with a mask on. Here, this sister is without a mask on. And you're looking at this, and so when she hits her, the whole thing is triggered by that white woman standing there, and you can see the wheels turning in her mind. Am I going to make a stand for my white nationalism and call this woman the N-word one more time? And when she finally decides to do it, she gets squared up and gets that two-piece, bang, bang. And like when the man says, she's down, that sister right there has not only put herself in danger, but I'll end with this. Like Claude McKay, when he wrote If We Must Die, it was during the Red Summer, brother. The big conflagration that happened in Chicago that summer, the race war that took place in Chicago, it is attested that they were throwing rocks at a black kid trying to swim in the river in Lake Michigan, and they start throwing rocks at him, and next thing you know, everything sets off. It might be a fist fight like that that sends this country up in flames, brother. That's how close we are.
Absolutely.
So y'all better back up.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, fam, the folks at Seek.com, founded by Mary Spiel, a sister, of course. She is the inventor, the creator of these devices, this virtual reality headset right here. You saw it in the video there. And also these 360-degree 4D headphones. You can actually get these with a discount because they partner with us at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Right here, here's the code, RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. First of all, folks, the headsets are phenomenal. The headphones are absolutely phenomenal. And of course, the VR headset is great because you just pop your phone, put it into the device, and then you can actually see video in virtual reality. So it's real cool. Go to Seek.com, Seek.com, CEEK.com, and use the promo code RMVIP2020. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, y'all, you know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Illegally selling water without a permit
on my property.
Whoa!
Hey!
Give us your right.
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
All right, we do not condone violence, any violence whatsoever. But the moment somebody touch you, the law says that's self-defense. This woman in this video, the white woman, is a Mississippi elections commissioner. I think she gonna think twice the next time she try to touch a black woman. Roll it.
Because ever since I've been standing here, y'all been
Ain't nobody, ain't no
I
y'all.
even gave you.
I just woke up. I just said something to you. Don't get in your truck before you get smacked. Now, go on now. I'm asking you to get out of my face.
I'm asking you to quit pointing.
Get
in
your
my
hand.
face.
Get out of my face, lady.
Stop, don't go
Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl.
She did it.
Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Stop. Get her ass to that truck. Goddamn. Watch it.
She started.
No, I didn't.
Miss McClain, you started that, McClain. You walked up in her face.
don't ask her what she said. And when you record this, you make sure you get the whole thing and don't slice it.
I ain't gonna slice it.
You will. And I'm pressing charges.
Well, you walked up in her face. We got everything
She
recorded.
said something.
We
and I
got
asked
everything
her.
recorded, Miss
I
McCarthy.
don't care. It's always one way with y'all.
But y'all, who are y'all?
You and anybody.
Who are y'all?
You and anybody else with a phone.
Have a good day.
Oh, I will when she gets arrested.
Hey, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah.
We don't have any confrontations out here.
I ain't got no confrontation, Miss Brown.
Well, what's the
You
problem?
stood in my truck. You won't stay over there. You're bound and determined to get in my way. And she made me.
Man, I don't know what she's talking about. She walked up into this lady's face. Walked way over here to her
I walked over
face.
there to see what she was
She's been
saying.
over there off and on all morning.
Even gave her
Well,
the
I ain't
damn
have
sign.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
How you gonna run for something when you clown?
You are the commissioner.
Because I ain't never knew like clown around like you.
She got it in her face.
Clown, how you got your ass whooped this way up here?
Come on here.
Hey.
Eric, I keep trying to tell these folk. That y'all. She like,
You know that's
Sarah.
Erica's cousin, right? You know that's Erica's cousin.
Listen, the Southern roots run deep. And let me tell you, you run up on a sister like me, you asking for everything I'm going to give you. And this is what white supremacy wants to, they're going to miss. They're going to miss being able to just run up on black people and where you going, girl? Where you going, boy? Show me your papers. They're definitely going to miss this time where when they were walking into a building, it was, oh, let me get out of the way. And those kind of things that have just been passed down. So I'm really interested to see. I was just looking up to see if my brother Jamar Walter, who was running against the white lady that got our ass whooped, to see if he had won that election race. So much respect and hope he does in fact win. But this is the kind of stuff that we're pushing back against, and that, you know, really that a person that runs up as the fight is over, then immediately runs to the black man and say, well, what you do to Miss Sherry? Like, all that kind of like, listen.
Now, Miss Sarah, you done started that, Miss Sarah.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, at Seek.com, I want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you listen to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound, so literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered.
You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
you can make this possible.
Folks, right now is Paris Denard. He is head of African American outreach for the Trump campaign. Paris, you sent out a tweet today, an email that said, Charlamagne the God rips Biden for avoiding his radio show, saying he owes black people his political life. I'm just curious, has Donald Trump done the Breakfast Club?
I don't know if the president has been invited to the Breakfast Club.
Well, has he done any of the nationally syndicated black radio shows?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know if he has, but I certainly know that his people in his administration.
No, but has he? Because this obviously Biden is a candidate. I can tell you right now on this show. Well, first of all, my News One Now show and this one, we've tried, and it was actually Trump's idea to do a sit down, but they haven't even done that. And so, if the team Trump is talking about Biden, his comments to black media, but Trump hasn't made any effort to talk to black media, any of these national shows, don't you think you sound pretty hypocritical? Because you haven't answered, Trump hasn't answered any of these questions from black media folks.
Well, no, I know, Roland, you've been invited to the White House to talk to the president before the State of the Union several times. And
No,
I know
twice. So, but again, in one of those meetings, Trump said that he would sit down with me and Ben Carson. I've sent multiple emails to Mercedes Schlapp, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as well as Hogan Gidley. Hasn't happened. That's been 3 years.
Well, it looks like he's tying the record with President Obama. But I think at the end of the day...
No, that's actually not true. First of all, President Obama was sworn in January 2009. I interviewed President Barack Obama in January 2010. So, no, you're wrong.
I think he's tying the record with President Obama in terms of engagement with black media. But I think
Hold on. No, based upon what? Based upon what?
Based upon a whole host of people complaining for multiple years about the lack of access that was given to the black press and the black media.
No. I can tell you that's an absolute lie. Because first of all, again, 1 year in, I sat down with President Barack Obama. I know for a fact that I also helped set the interview with President Barack Obama on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. Donald Trump hasn't done any of these black media outlets. So what I'm saying is, y'all really shouldn't try to even talk about that because you have no record.
Well, actually, we do. I'm glad you brought up a record because we do have a record to run on, and that's what we're proud to do.
What record?
That's what we're going to do.
What's the record?
The record is very clear. The record of unprecedented HBCU support, the record on criminal justice reform, the record on his executive order on kidney disease and kidney health, the record on supporting school choice, which I know is something that you support, as well as HBCU support.
Let me ask you this question.
Like I mentioned earlier.
Let me ask you a question. You talked about record. Did the Trump administration also endorse stopping consent decrees of police departments from the Department of Justice? Yes or no?
I'm not here to speak on behalf of the Trump administration.
No, hold on, but you are. You just said the Trump administration has a record. And you're talking about that whole issue in terms of what they've done for African Americans. One of the first actions of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General was to go against the consent decree in Baltimore. In fact, a federal judge overruled him. He went against the consent decree in Chicago. Then he gave a speech before the very law enforcement groups saying they were pulling back on consent decrees because they were hurting the morale of police officers. Attorney General William Barr endorsed that. Donald Trump endorsed that. Second, you talked about the whole issue of First Step Act. Also, the Trump Department of Justice to reverse the rules of Eric Holder, saying go for the maximum sentences that you can, when Eric Holder was trying to slow down mass incarceration by saying you don't have to go for the maximum sentences. The Trump administration brought back private prisons on the federal level. Do those things count in your criminal justice plan?
Roland, you can try to give cover to Joe Biden.
No, hold on. I haven't mentioned Joe Biden. No, I haven't mentioned Joe Biden. I'm specifically talking about the Trump plan for black people. Did any of those things I just tell you happen? Yes or no?
Did any of the things that I just described happen? Let me ask you yes or no.
Yes, but hold on. But you offered that.
The fact of the matter is that it's yes. The fact of the matter is the
Hold on. Paris, I answered your question. The things that I mentioned, did they happen? Yes or no? The things that I mentioned, did they happen? Yes or no? I answered yours. Can you answer mine?
I am sure because you are an astute journalist, that those things did happen.
Yes, they did. Okay.
But those things do not take away the fact that Joe Biden says bigoted things, like he said today, that was insulting, things that should have never been said, that Ambassador Patrick Gaspard said that he wouldn't have said even in jest. But it doesn't take away from President Trump's impressive record for the black community that any Democrat or any Republican running for the second term would love to have.
Actually, I would disagree with that one, but I got to ask you this here. Can you respond to the rollback of civil rights protections in various departments in the Trump administration? Can you respond to the Department of Labor suspending the affirmative action rules, which have been imposed by the National Urban League, Mark Morrell, imposed by Congresswoman Bonnie Coleman, even during the middle of COVID? Can you respond to any of that?
What I can respond to is the fact that the Department of Labor did a rule change that made it so that the millions of people that look like you and me that were left out of the healthcare system because of Obamacare, who still cannot afford healthcare, were given the ability to pool themselves together from geography or by industry and tap into healthcare and receive it at a more affordable price, like a big company would able to do.
Hold up, are y'all trying to take credit for the Affordable Care Act?
No, by no means. I'm glad we got rid of the individual mandate. What I'm saying is, because of in spite of Obamacare, there were still millions of Americans that were small business owners, more specifically, that were left out of the system and still could not afford health care. Because of a rule change from the Department of Labor under the Trump administration, they made it possible for these small businesses to pool together by geography and by industry and then get access to affordable health care because they were left out and couldn't afford it even under Obamacare.
So I got to ask you, so African-American uninsured rate dropped by more than a third because of the Affordable Care Act, but y'all want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, but you have no replacement. And so how can you say you want to improve the health of African-Americans when you have no plan to do so? And if you have a plan, where is it? Because I haven't seen it.
Well, the Congress has put forth multiple plans.
Who?
But the most
which Congress?
The Republican Congress, when this was taken up, I believe the last Congress had multiple plans for it.
They haven't. In fact, they've been waiting for Trump because he keeps saying he has one, but it hasn't been shown. So what's the plan?
Well, the first thing was to get rid of the individual mandate. The second thing was to make sure that as we look at COVID-19, that any Black American, any American, period, who cannot afford to go into the hospital should not use economics or socioeconomics as an excuse or a reason to not go. Because of the CARES Act supported by the president and moves by the administration, if you want to get a test, you can get a test. If you want to,
coronavirus?
If you are sick, yes, Roland, coronavirus.
Hold up, Paris, that's not true. There are African Americans who I know who still can't get tests. So you're actually trying to tell me right now that if any American wants a coronavirus test, they can get one right now?
I'm going to take it a step further, Roland, and help educate you and your audience. If anybody right now, especially in the Black community, needs to get a coronavirus test, they can do so. Number one. Number two, if the Trump administration has put forth tons of resources as it relates to community centers and testing. If you saw that over 100,000 through FEMA testings were sent to Detroit specifically.
I was told we were supposed to have drive-by testing, and there's a big old news conference in the Rose Garden with Walgreens and CVS and Walmart. None of that has actually happened.
Well, Roland, what has happened is if anybody that needs to be tested or anybody who is hospitalized for COVID-19, any COVID-19 related health issues, you do not have to worry about paying for it if you cannot afford it.
So you're saying, hold on. No, I'm going to go back to what you said. So you're saying that if anybody out there who wants a COVID-19 test anywhere in the country, they can get it right now?
Yes. And
wow, that's breaking news.
That is not breaking news.
Actually, it is.
It's not. Well, I'm glad to break it to you. And I'll also break it to you and your audience that if you can't afford it, you can still go and get care for COVID-19. So let's not use economics as a reason why we don't go and get the care that we need because of the disproportionate impact of COVID-19.
You spoke about... Go ahead.
But at the end of the day, what I was brought on to talk about and to address is the bigoted comments of Joe Biden today that were insulting and disgusting. And to any free-thinking, independent-minding Black American out there, Joe Biden, a 77-year-old white man in quarantine in his basement, is telling us how we have to vote and what we need to vote. And if we dare vote outside of how he wants us to vote, he's taken away our Black card. It's despicable, it's disgusting, and and we should not tolerate that. It was offensive.
Were you offended when Ralph Reed said that Christians, it's their moral obligation to vote for Trump in 2020? All Christians.
I don't find that to be an offensive comment.
It's not. So if you're a Christian and then you don't support Trump, Ralph Reed literally said it's the moral obligation of all Christians to render to God and render to Trump.
Well, I don't know if you said render to God and render to Trump.
Actually, he did. It's actually in his book.
Congratulations. I didn't read his book, but I will tell you.
But he's a white conservative evangelical. So if you're criticizing Joe Biden for this, do you criticize
Pentecostal who looks at the Democrat Party and their stances on certain things morally, and I find them to be reprehensible.
I'm asking again. If you criticize Paris, if you're criticizing Joe Biden, for this,
when you have a governor of Virginia who was proudly putting on blackface and supports infanticide and late-term abortions, and when you have when you have things like that, yes, morally, I'm against it. And so,
are you also, as a Black conservative, do you stand with Donald Trump or Black conservative Colin Powell when it comes to voter suppression, how it's being specifically targeted as African Americans? Have you called out Donald Trump and the Republican Party for their full embracing of voter suppression, such as what we've seen in North Carolina, where federal judges ruled there was a laser-like targeting of Black voters? Have you done that?
I have.
Is that morally offensive? Is it morally offensive for Republicans to have a laser-like targeting of Black voters to suppress their vote? Yes or no?
I disagree that Republicans have a laser-like focus on trying to suppress the Black vote.
A panel of federal judges. Paris, that was in an actual ruling. Republicans in North Carolina literally asked, when are African Americans voting in early voting? They were shown that 70% voted during the first week of early voting, and they changed the rules to keep Black folks from voting during that period. A federal judges ruled that there was a laser-like targeting of Black voters. So are you actually, we're curious, is that morally offensive to you as a Black man, as a Pentecostal Black man, that white Republicans would target Black voters like that in North Carolina? Yes or no?
Is it offensive to you that the Democrat Party is the party of infanticide and continues to be the leading cause of death?
Actually, you don't answer a question with a question. But I'll be more than happy to answer your question. But can you answer my question?
Roland, I am able to do that because I'm a free-thinking Black man, and I can do whatever I dang well please.
Okay, but if it's morally offensive, answer the question.
Freedom and opportunity.
Answer the question.
And what Joe Biden did.
Are you offended that Republicans in North Carolina had a laser-like targeting of Black voters trying to keep them from voting? Does that offend you?
I'm offended by the efforts right now of Democrats that are trying to make mail-in voting the thing of what we're doing, knowing that it is not only dangerous.
I'm asking you specifically.
That it is not only dangerous for Black Americans, not only that there are several accounts of many Blacks on the left-hand side, on the left side of the political aisle, who raised the problems with mail-in voting. That's why the RNC has put out protectthevote.com.
First of all, hold on. If I recall, the greatest
for us to not have a all mail-in ballot system.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Nice try trying to flip it. But the greatest example of voter fraud with the hoarding of ballots took place by Republicans in North Carolina, where the Republican Party had to admit there need to be a whole new election. That actually happened. What I still don't understand is this here. What I still don't understand is why is it Because see, here's the deal. When you say free thinking, free thinking black man has the ability to call out stuff on the left or on the right, in the middle, it doesn't matter. But see, you're actually being a partisan black Republican when you're afraid to even stand with Colin Powell, who gave a speech, and the governor of North Carolina, Republican, was sitting in the audience, and he called them out for their attacks on black people voting. But you can't even say that the laser-like targeting of black voters was morally wrong.
I am not going to allow you or Joe Biden to offend me or the millions of black people like me.
I didn't offend you.
That we can think for ourselves. Yes, I'm a partisan, but I'm also a free thinker, and it's offensive for many people out there, young black Americans especially, who want to look and examine the records of both sides, look at the parties, and have a fair and open mind to determine who they want to vote for, and to do so by looking at their interests. And for them to say, and for you and for others to then question their blackness or
no, I'm sorry. First of all, hold on, stop. See, Paris, hold up. See, Paris, right here, Paris. See, this is the mistake that you know. Because the reality, Paris, you would have never signed your CNN contract if I didn't put you on the air. And here's the deal, you know this. I never allowed anybody to call you a sellout, to call you a coon, to call you an Uncle Tom. I do not allow people to use that language to any black person, whether they are Republican or Democrat, whether they are Hotep, whether they are Christian, it does not matter. I don't allow it. So one, that's a lie. It's a lie for you to sit here and say what you just said because I don't allow it. Now, if we want to have a free black man conversation, again, as a black man, here's what I want to know. Again, when you talk about standing up for something, when you talk about what's right, you talked about there are Democrats who are pro-choice, Republicans who are pro-life. I've been highly critical of Republicans who call themselves pro-life but say nothing when black men get gunned down, who say nothing when they get shot. See, here's the whole piece. Either you're pro-life or you pro-life only in the womb. Now, see, do you want to have that conversation? I'm more than willing to have it with you, because here's what I do know. The man you're supporting has stood before and has criticized progressive district attorneys, black DAs who are trying to end mass incarceration. He has said we're going to pull back on consent decrees. And so, again,
it's laughable, Roland, that you are going to sit here to your audience and ignore Joe Biden's
no. See, hold up. I can't ignore
incarceration and try to flip it.
No.
And put it on Donald Trump,
See, here's where you're wrong. Here's where you're wrong.
For criminal justice reform that is actually impacting thousands of black men.
Here's where you're wrong.
Reuniting with their families, our communities, and our citizens.
See, Paris, do yourself a favor. Paris, do yourself a favor and go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, Paris. Paris, do yourself a favor. Paris, do yourself a favor. Paris, do yourself a favor.
Let me inform your audience of something.
On what? What's that?
In my CNN contract, and your producers knew that, I made it very clear that I wanted a carve out for TV One and your show.
I know, I got that.
No. And so it was not because of you, because I was doing media long before your show.
Paris,
but it was out of respect. It was out of respect to you and your platform that I asked for a carve out, which didn't happen.
Paris,
but
here's the deal, Paris.
Here's the deal, Paris. Of your ego and getting fired from CNN and being jealous.
Actually, I didn't get fired from CNN.
You refused to put me back on the show.
That's not true.
I had the contract knowing full well.
No, that's not true.
I had a carve out for your show.
No, Paris, that's not true.
The problem is,
Paris is not true.
You don't want to have the truth.
Paris is not true.
You don't want to stand up against the Democrats. Your problem is
I stood up against Democrats.
The script and not talk about Joe Biden tonight.
No, Paris. Paris, here's where you're wrong. Paris, here's where you're wrong. See, Paris, let me break this down for you. You can go to YouTube and see the number of conversations we've had about Joe Biden and his criminal justice plan. We've actually done that. Hold up. Let me also help you out. Let me help you out, Paris. I have a 2-hour show.
I don't
and guess
need
what?
I'm not going to be for you for 2 hours.
Paris, you're not going to be here 2 hours because I'm not going to waste that time. I have Latasha Brown from Black Voters Matter.
Let's go.
I have a
Pull
panel.
I
have a panel of 3 people. I have a panel of 3 people who we're going to be discussing all of that. So trust me, you don't program the show. But I will say this here: if you are going to dare to criticize Joe Biden for not doing black media, your boss has done. I'm sorry, it's on your email. In the email you sent out, your boss hasn't done black media. Your boss hasn't. Your boss hasn't consented. Your boss
the Trump campaign. When we launched Black Voices for Trump, we made a significant effort and with money, quite frankly, to have paid.
No, that's not what I asked. Has Donald Trump? No. Answer the question. Did Donald Trump sit down with Tom Joyner before he retired? Has Donald Trump talked to Steve Harvey, D.O. Hughley, Erica Campbell, Ricky Smiley, Joe Madison? Has Donald Trump talked to any of them?
I'm glad. Yes, the answer is yes. And when he did meet with Steve Harvey,
No. That's not what I just told you.
Viciously,
has Donald Trump done an interview with Steve Harvey on his radio show? Yes or no?
No, but he hasn't met with Steve Harvey.
That's not what I asked. I asked you, has Donald Trump done interviews on the air with Steve Harvey, Tom Joyner before he retired, Ricky Smiley, D.O. Hughley, Joe Madison, Erica Campbell, Dee Dee, all the nationally black syndicated radio shows? Has he done any of them?
No, but he has met with black journalists.
Okay, gotcha.
On a local level.
Oh, so he won't talk to any of these nationally syndicated radio shows, which actually are the largest reaching black audiences. He hasn't done any of those, right?
He hasn't done it yet.
Okay. Oh, but he will?
He hasn't done it yet.
Will he?
Well, he's not afraid.
No. But will he?
I can't speak for the campaign, but
so,
I will tell you.
So how about this here? Why is it that in 3 years, Donald Trump hasn't bothered to even speak to the National Urban League or the NAACP? He's been invited.
You see, that's the problem.
No, I just asked the question. I'm asking the question. Why hasn't Donald Trump? President?
Stop talking and let somebody respond.
Why hasn't he done it?
The answer is just because he doesn't go to a convention doesn't mean that he's not speaking with and working with the Urban League. I would like to inform
that's not what I asked.
Audience.
First of all,
Roland, that's the old tired way of thinking.
No, it's it's not.
A 15-minute speech.
George W. Bush spoke to the Urban League 5 times in 8 years.
I was responsible for him going to the NAACP with Bruce Gordon. So when it comes down to giving a 5 to 10 minute speech or actually having real policy and working together, that's what this administration has been doing from day one. Reaching out, working with the National Action Network, the National Urban League, the NAACP, working with the National Bankers Association, which is all of our black-owned banks. This is what this administration is doing behind the scenes, because they won't give credit for it, but it's fine. But they are working long before COVID-19, but during COVID-19 and before, through the Opportunity Revitalization Council and other leaders within the administration and the cabinet. That is how you get things done for the community. So, Roland, if you want somebody to give a 10-minute speech, congratulations.
No, actually, it's not 10-minute speech.
This administration
is not 10-minute speech.
And
but again,
I outline. Continue to give cover to Joe Biden and his bigoted comments.
I want to know
what Bob Johnson said, and he said he should spend the rest of his campaign apologizing to every black person he meets because he represents the arrogant, out-of-touch attitude of paternalistic white candidates who have the audacity to tell black people, the descendants of slaves, that they are not black unless they vote for him.
And I'll tell you what also was arrogant is when you have somebody who sits here and wants to tout, first of all, who calls the first black president incompetent, somebody who stands here and talks about criminal justice reform, but does not, I'm not done, but does not want to own up to the fact that he has chosen not to stand up for black folks and brown folks in these cities when it comes to these police departments, who has given law enforcement cover, That's what he has done. A Department of Justice that has done nothing when it comes to voter suppression, that stands on the side of those who want to keep folks from voting. When the Obama Department of Justice stood with the black and brown people in Texas when it came to their voter ID, Trump wins and they completely go to the other side and stand with the folks who want, even though 5 federal judges said that voter ID in Texas was discriminatory. So if we see, here's the deal. We can talk record, but we're going to talk about the whole record, not a little bit, because also on this show, we talk about the whole record of Joe Biden as well. Because, see, nobody gets a pass, including your guy. Paris,
he's our president.
No, actually, no. Let me be real clear with you. Actually, here's the deal, though. I said this here. I said this in February 2017. I said it in February. Oh, please, please. I said it in February 2017.
That's the truth.
Here's the deal. I will never call somebody president who can't even respect the office of president. So he's Donald Trump. Paris Denard, thanks a bunch. Now we're about to talk about it with my panel. We appreciate it.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. This is the Seek VR headset created by Mary Spiel, the sister. We had her on the show. Black woman. She actually is the inventor of this particular headset. And so what happens is you just simply place your phone right into here, and then of course close it up, and then go to their website and then their app, and you can actually experience the comedy showcase. And so they have these headsets, these VR headsets on their site, seek.com, for sale. Then also they have these 4D 360-degree headphones. First of all, I love the two stuff because they're in black and old gold, my frat colors. But these are awesome because for gamers, it comes with detachable headset, and again, folks, it gives you 360-degree sound. Amazing sound. If you want to buy these, you have a promo code you can use. This is just for our followers, and it is RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Put that promo code in. If you want to buy the headphones, buy the VR headset, you get that discount to buy it. They're amazing. So seek.com, RMVIP2020.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. In Atlanta over the weekend, a local armed black militia made headlines on the 4th of July by challenging the KKK during a march from the city of Stone Mountain to Stone Mountain Park. Of course, that's where, of course, there's this huge mural, if you will, etched into stone there of these Confederates. The militia calls itself the Not Fucking Around Coalition. Watch this. Now, the leader said the march was the result of threats made against blacks by members of the KKK and other white supremacy groups. Grandmaster Jay, founder of the group, joins me now on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Grandmaster Jay, how you doing?
Roland, good to be here. How are you?
Doing great. First and foremost, how many folks did you have out there?
We had a total of 1,500 that were in the formation, and then we had a lot of folks that were unable to carry weapons but still were in uniform that numbered about another 150. And then, of course, you had a volume of spectators that wanted to trail along to see what was going to happen. They numbered at about another 150.
So you, how long did it take for you to coordinate this? And was it also meant to let folks know, not just in Atlanta, but around the country, that there are African Americans today, in many ways, who were like the deacons of the defense in the 1960s, who protected black communities from the KKK?
I would answer that in a twofold answer. First, it had a twofold purpose. If you remember, with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia, those were our members that showed up armed, the armed citizens you heard about. That was our first foray into this matter that has gotten completely out of control, with violence happening at the hands of, I hate to say it, white Americans against what appears to be predominantly black Americans. Not saying other people don't get shot, but for the racial piece to be added in there on top of everything else that we've been going through with the quarantine, the pandemic, and so forth, loss of jobs, and of course the tension being risen in the country, that we had reached a point that even though we had gone through all of that, there was a remnant of us that's been in place for quite some time. We're the older guys. We're the mature guys. We're your vets. We're your folks who are responsible gun owners. We're the individuals that, we remember the 60s, the 70s, 80s, the 90s, and now here in the 20s, we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We know the law. We're law-abiding gun owners, so we understand the Constitution. And, of course, we all believe in the Second Amendment of the Constitution and the First Amendment. So the first show of force was pretty much just to let folks know that this is not the way that we want to see things progress. But if they do, we're going to have to take Malcolm X's words and defend ourselves against these continued attacks. So we decided to do two things. The first thing was to exercise our constitutional right to bear arms in accordance with the law, and, of course, to peacefully assemble. And then at the same time, send what we felt was a message to the heart of what we feel is probably the driving engine behind a lot of what is now coming to light. The FBI report that said that there would be an insurgence of white supremacists and those folks into law enforcement, into the military, has begun to bear fruit. We're seeing that in the increased numbers of police-involved shootings. We're also starting to see certain behaviors that are not so much related to police, but are related to the Jim Crow era and related to the era of lynching. A spate of lynchings across the country that no one seems to want to explain, like all of a sudden black men became experts on how to tie nooses and jumped off of trees all of a sudden, when the history that we have within our culture is that hanging is the last thing that a black man is going to think about doing, not taking anything away from suicide rates, which we studied. But in this particular instance, given the atmosphere that we were seeing, with the resurgence of what appears to be very evident white militia that the police are unwilling to even so much as detain as they do black folks, with the rise in the protests that happened after George Floyd, and then again the increased presence of what we could only deem as agitators, dressed like police but heavily armed, we thought it would be in our best interest to send a message to the heart of what we believe is the driving engine behind that, the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. What we found out when we dealt with the McMichaels and Mr. Bryan down in Brunswick is that they were all members of the same Klan lodge, which spoke volumes. And when we found out that the most of the folks in the town were okay with that, we know about the Deep South. Well, in this particular instance, Stone Mountain represents the birthplace or the rebirthplace of the Ku Klux Klan. So we decided to do something that had never been done before, and that was to peacefully assemble a formation, not a mob, not a bunch of protesters, not a demonstration, but to call a formation of our black militia, which is what we are, and to actually go up to the mountain and make a statement that we wanted to make under the First Amendment to the Constitution, and then leave. That was the intention. In the process of us planning this, here comes the threat. And this threat was communicated by major media, communicated by the White House, Department of Justice. So we took it at face value. Even though we hadn't seen anything of some of these other threats, you were not going to continue to threaten the black race. It was not going to happen. And it was time for us to show folks that we can defend ourselves. There's been a lot of misinformation out there where folks are trying to paint us as a terrorist group, or that we're out to attack folks. And, no, that's not the purpose. The purpose was to send the message. The message was sent very well, and we also demonstrated that we could organize ourselves in such a fashion that no one got hurt. There were no incidences of anyone accidentally killing themselves. There was no property damage. There were some exchanges of words between some of the folks who were made to leave the park. Folks don't understand that the law enforcement evacuated the park when we came, and they closed the park for us to avoid any conflict. So it was a very peaceful event. As a matter of fact, it was a history-making event because it happened simultaneously with another march that we had in Phoenix, Arizona at the exact same time. This was a message to all of the white militia and to all of the folks who continue to believe that you can treat black folks any particular type of way, and that we will not stand up as U.S. citizens and arm ourselves per the Constitution.
When you on that particular point there, I mean, we have seen all of these different white militia groups come out mad, protesting. They don't have, they don't want to wear masks, things along those lines, and storming state capitals. What I've said to people that when I see this video, the actions of these black folks totally different than what I've seen for some of these white protesters in Michigan and Wisconsin. I mean,
absolutely.
But people all say, "Oh my God," because again, we know how America is. We always say it. America freaks the hell out when black folks with guns show up in public.
Well, you have to understand something, Roland. If you've read the book Brainwashed by Tom Burrell, it talks a lot about...
Oh, yeah. I actually interviewed Tom Burrell, so know him well.
Great book. He actually talks about a lot of the behaviors that have been ingrained into certain cultures so that automatically, by default, we automatically assume something to be wrong, even if it's not against the law. And one of the things that he talks about in that book is the fact that African Americans have been socialized to believe that the presence of guns is an evil thing. And that's why the image of the black man being the evil crime marauding across the, rape, robbing, and pillaging as if this is the birth of a new nation has been ingrained on both sides of the fence. However, when white folks decide they want to pick up guns and run up on state houses and threaten the police and nothing happens, black folks see that and go, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And as you all know, it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun. So to be honest with you, we, again, are not a mob. And we're not talking about something that we feel about. We're looking at a situation that is deteriorating, and we feel we have to defend ourselves. Our policing models are broken. Remote policing does not work. We feel there's a need for us to get back to community policing. We feel there's a need for us to start protecting our own communities again under the laws that are established in the land, and also the educating of our own people. Not just gun clubs, but the actual ability that a gun is necessary for you to have on your person legally in this apartheid-like environment that we live in the United States.
Well, and the reality is, which I've said to people, that if you choose not to, you don't have to. Look, I fired a gun one time at the FBI Academy. It was a submachine gun. I was a grossly overrated experience. So I was like, yo, I'll go back to playing golf. But if somebody, I mean, that's just me. And so my family has never had one in our household. That's just me. I don't need to have one. My brother, he's gone out hunting with his son and his daughter. Great. And again, but the thing though is we also understand the history. When those Black Panthers rolled up in the state capitol in Sacramento, then white legislators freaked the hell out and immediately moved against that. And in fact, if you also take it even further, to even go back, the creation of the NRA and creation. I mean, bottom line is white folks in this country have always had a response to black resistance by grabbing guns. And
let me throw something in there, Roland. Here's the deal. There's two things that we have to address before we can go any further. The first thing is that the double standard. The hypocrisy of it all. White militia marches, nobody says anything. A couple of guys get locked up in Virginia for impersonating police officers with twisty ties to throw somebody in a truck and go lynch him. Nobody says anything. Black folks assemble to peacefully march to a notoriously controversial landmark, may say a few words under the First Amendment rights, and all of a sudden, I mean, I've seen the headlines around the world, everything from anti-Semitic, which we're not, to we're out to attack white folks, to we're trying to take Texas. Texas is already geared up for an invasion. We heard they're getting ready. People are telling us to come on down, let's duke it out. And we're like, that's not what we said.
Well, but here's the deal, though. For the folks who don't understand, in Texas, the new Black Panther Party, look, I covered those guys in Dallas. And I remember being there. People like, oh, my God, these black people with guns.
We're not taking Texas.
No. Follow me here. What I'm saying is, I'm born and raised there. I was covering those guys in Dallas. People were freaking out, and I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Black folks walking around with weapons, because I was there when Khalid Muhammad was with them. They went to the James Byrd when they went there and they had their guns and people were freaking out. And I was like, yo, the white folks over there got their guns. Open carry state. It doesn't say open carry for white people. It says open carry.
Open carry, exactly. Now here's the second part, and this is the part where I've been waiting to say this to you. I want to thank you, because you are the first person in black news media who saw fit to have a conversation with us about a historic event that has happened that has been ignored by mainstream media. It has been ignored especially by black media. And believe it or not, most folks are hearing one twisted version or another. So folks were wondering, when were you guys going to show up? And I wanted to thank you, Roland, because someone said, Roland wants to have you come on. I'm like, what, you mean Roland Martin? Someone finally spoke up. Roland, I have to tell you that I have newfound respect for you. After the comedy show you put on Monique Presley's page, I thought that was hilarious. Didn't know you could be so funny. But now you have my newfound respect in journalism again, and I want to thank you for being the first Black news media outlet of major proportions to actually have the In Fact come on, discuss what we were doing, why we were doing it, and to speak from the perspective of the Black citizen.
I had there are people who are commenting on Periscope. I see them on Facebook and YouTube as well. And so one of the things that I saw, one particular comment the folks wanted to get from you is that we've seen the shootings that have taken place in Atlanta, the 8-year-old girl being killed as well. And one of the folks have said, should there also be this presence in protecting African Americans in cases like that? What is your comment to that?
It's kind of ironic that they asked that question, because once we completed the march on Stone Mountain and we were done and we had been escorted out of the park, we actually went down to the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks was killed. And we met with the young men that were out there guarding the place, and they asked us for pointers. And one of the guys even said when we got there, what took you guys so long to get here? And we walked around and they showed us the place. They showed us the stores. And we told them, you guys want to get some training. You guys want to, if you want to do this, you got to do it right. And everything was great. And then we left to escort Rayshard Brooks' sister down to Centennial Park to a reparations rally. She asked us to be her security. And while we were down there, again, it was a great time. And then we left. We're smart enough not to hang around any town after sunset. We're not that stupid. So we were long gone. We're not from Georgia. Some of us were, but we all didn't know that we should disappear. And then to hear what happened later, the shooting and so forth, was distressing us because it was right where we was. And we kind of felt like, at first we thought it was, someone was trying to be retaliatory because we were there. Because the young men did tell us that the Ku Klux Klan had come by and shot up the place a couple of nights before. But then again, I can tell you now that the state of things in Atlanta at that time, there was lawlessness not just in that area, it was throughout the city. We saw a decreased police presence, and we saw a lot of folks who were taking advantage of that. So the hearing of that shooting distressed us. But what probably incensed me even more was the fact that there was not a structure like us in place that was already doing community policing. Because now that we've got a photograph and a videotape of the young man that's obviously not even qualified to be in the NFAC, we are an old folks organization. There are no young kids per se in our organization. Now that we've got a video of what this young man looks like, and we know there are 3 or 4 other suspects involved, we too have gone public to demand that that individual be turned over by the community so that they can be dealt with, because that is inexcusable. And yes, we do believe that is another justification for us to have our own community policing as opposed to remote policing, because those folks know who's in their neighborhood. So I do support that, and that is one of the tenets of the NFAC.
And you're speaking about the shooting death of Sequoia Turner. Folks, go to my iPad. This is the photo that authorities released. They are looking to question this individual in that particular shooting. Of course, we also there were several young Black kids who were killed in Chicago over the weekend as well. Last question for you, and I've got I'm reading comments from people who literally are commenting right now on Facebook. To the people who normally watch it on our YouTube channel, we're having some issues there. It's buffering, so my apologies there. So if you got a problem with our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook page or our Periscope page, because we're streaming on all 3. So Grandmaster Jay, the question to you is, folks are saying, do you have chapters in other cities? And if so, is there a central location where people can go to get more information? They also want to know about starting chapters in their own place as well under your group's banner. They want to know, where do they get information?
Absolutely. Anyone who is, there are two answers. Anyone who's interested in becoming a member of InFact, you can go to info@blacknfac.com. I'll say it again, info@blacknfac.com, and give us your contact information. There is a vetting process, and some of those, they have to do with the ability to own guns and attain or carry concealed. So you know your own background, so act accordingly. The other, if you want information on the group itself, you can either come directly to me, myself, and through our portal on Instagram. That's my official Instagram account. That's the official Grandmaster J on Instagram for the time being. Instagram is censoring us very heavily these days, as is Facebook. So we're looking at moving to other platforms. I am here on YouTube, but my YouTube may become the new place. But for right now, we are controlling the flow of information, Roland. We're controlling it because we learned our lessons from COINTELPRO. We learned our lessons from Operation Black Messiah. We've learned our lessons. So we're not as openly with our information as some organizations are. We are a militia. So we have to protect that information. So we control the input of whatever that comes in. Additionally, anyone who's curious about chapters, there are chapters around the country. We're still birthing chapters. As a matter of fact, the young man in Louisiana that they had the run-in last week, him and I have talked several times about them becoming the Louisiana arm of the NFAC. If you already have a militia-type organization in your city, feel free to reach out to us, and then we can have a conversation, and then we can talk about whether or not we append that, because we are a coalition, which means that we work along with different elements. However, our core group itself is pretty large. So if you want to join the NFAC directly, that's what you saw in Stone Mountain. Those were all NFAC. Then you please feel free to get in touch with us. There is going to be, and I'll end with this, Roland, we're going to do a recruiting tour where I am going to come to certain cities. And if you already have your chapter ready to go, I'll have my team with me. We'll inspect your folks. We'll make sure everybody's up to snuff. We'll check documentation, and then we'll swear you in. And you are then officially a member of our particular organization. What happened in Stone Mountain also is we swore in all of those people. They had come from many different places. This was their final step. The 2.5-mile road march up and down hills in the hot sun with all the quarantine food you ate was your final test to see if you could make it into the NFAC. But that's all I have, and I thank you for having me. And I would hope that everyone realizes that we're setting an example of how you should respond in the ongoing face of aggression against the Black community. Thank you again, Roland.
I appreciate it. And again, for the folks who are out there, I unfortunately, I do not have it with me, but it is on my bookshelf at home. I'm trying to actually pull it up right now. Just give me a second. I want to. So for the folks who don't understand history, this actually, Lance Hill is the author of a book. Go ahead and show this. The Deacons for Defense, Armed Resistance, and the Civil Rights Movement. And so you need to understand that particular book. And I'm going to pull up another book. Just give me a second. For folks who don't know, I actually interviewed him. He was one of the leaders of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Charles Cobb. And Charles Cobb also wrote a book. Give me 1 second. And again, remember last week we were discussing this. Dr. Greg Carr showed you a particular book as well that dealt with the issue of the history of African Americans and gun rights. Charles Cobb's book, I'm looking for the cover, but I think it was called This Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed. And he was actually talking about, again, the history of gun rights during the Black Freedom Movement. Grandmaster Jay, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Martin, thank you.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks at Seek.com, they have, of course, their virtual reality headset, which you can see right here, which allows for you to actually place your phone inside of this particular headset, look at 360-degree video, look at virtual reality video right there on your phone as well. And so you can go to Seek.com and watch their content, subscribe to their content. You can also, of course, check out other videos. There's a YouTube channel that has 360-degree video. Then, of course, they have their 360-degree 4D headphone. You see them right here. Gamers also use these. This also, of course, has this microphone right here that attaches to the headset, which allows for you to talk while you are playing video games. You'll see right here, the microphone right here. Then, of course, you can also, it's Bluetooth, and you can also plug in, listen to music. If you want a discount code to get these headsets, this VR headset or the headphones, go to Seek.com, 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 and use the promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. A Black woman, Mary Spio, is actually the inventor of these headphones. She owns the company as well, and so not only are you supporting, of course, a great product, but also supporting a Black-owned business. And so we certainly appreciate that. So don't forget, the promo code is RMVIP2020. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, I want to bring this up here. And so y'all know how I feel about that truly stupid and ignorant Candace Owens. Who made some of the most illogical, nonsensical comments regarding the case of Ahmaud Arbery, trashing him, saying black folks, why y'all, he was stealing, wasn't jogging. Well, things got a little heated on social media in the last 24 hours, where a group of black conservatives have actually been standing up and called her comments out. It's been real interesting, Malik, seeing this back and forth take place with this one sister who's a conservative named Sonny Johnson. And she, of course, has been battling with Candace on this. And what was interesting is that these black conservatives, what they laid out is that they said that point blank, they condemned her particular comments. I just think, I'm going to pull up their whole statement in a second. But can somebody just explain to me why you have black conservatives like Candace who, anytime it's dealing, just won't call white folks out for nothing, but will trash black people for raising a big stink about the Ahmaud Arbery case? Here's the deal, Malik. If black people didn't say jack, those two guys are still sitting at home. If black folks said nothing about Breonna Taylor, guess what? Nothing happens. And so what's up with some of your fellow black conservatives who have more vitriol towards black people who fight for justice than the white folks who are defending these two idiots who killed Ahmaud Arbery?
So we're going to, this is what I'll say. As someone who was a lifelong Democrat until I voted for Donald Trump, it's a lot of, and I appreciate a lot of the black conservatives who are coming out condemning her remarks. I condemn her, not her remarks. I condemn her. And I actually wrote a piece on that condemning her remarks. Condemning her. And how do you condemn her but not her remarks? I don't understand that.
No, well, let me clear that up. What I was saying is that people are condemning her remarks. I condemn Candace Owens and what Candace Owens actually stands for as it relates to growing the black conservative movement. Now, Candace Owens has been this way forever. And people say, she is definitely one of the most visible black conservatives that we have out of there. But for all intents and purposes, Candace Owens is a Trump supporter. Candace is not, I understand what she's doing with the whole Blexit movement, but for all intents and purposes, Candace Owens is a Trump supporter. Whether or not she'll be around after Trump leaves, I don't know.
But wait, I'm trying to understand the distinction. So what you're saying, you're saying she's not a black conservative, she's a Trump supporter. But wait a minute, you just said that you were a Democrat and then you voted for Trump. So aren't you a Trump supporter and not a black conservative?
Absolutely. And actually, in my case, and the distinction that I would make between me and Candace is
hold on. I want to be clear before you make the distinction. Hold on. Wait. I just want to be clear before you make the distinction. So you're saying that you're not a black Republican or a black conservative. You're a Trump supporter. So are you still a Democrat but a Trump supporter?
Yeah. So let me finish my point. Where the distinction between me and Candace is that I'm actually out there trying to bring people into the Republican Party. Candace, and she's admitted to it, Candace, she wants to move people away from the Democratic Party. I want to increase the numbers of people in the Republican Party. Until today, and I don't know, maybe it'll change tomorrow, Candace at no point has that been her focus. So when I say that Candace Owens is a Trump supporter, I think a lot of us, people just in America in general, they kind of take on the mantle of being a black conservative. Well, what does that mean? If you ask people what does being a black conservative mean,
a lot of them really don't have answers. And because I've had these conversations with many people who now consider themselves black conservatives, what they're really talking about is that they actually support Donald Trump. That doesn't mean that they are not conservative, but as for my purposes, Candace is totally different from a lot of those people, and the people that you saw in the op-ed, the article that you're talking about. A lot of those people are actually involved in the movement to bring more people into the party. I'm not sure that that's Candace's goals. Again, I understand what she's doing with Brexit, but I'm not sure that's Candace's goal. I've criticized Candace over and over and over again because I think that what Candace does, and as I wrote today, when she makes comments as she does, what happens is that there's an anvil that we have to wear around our necks when trying to defend the party against people just like her. But make no mistake, and I'll just say this very quickly, make no mistake, Candace is in a long line of black people who have done this, whether they consider themselves black conservatives, black Republicans, or whatever. Candace didn't start this game. She's probably the biggest that we've had in this age of social media, but Candace didn't start this game. And you can look at the Republican Party itself, black Republicans in the party, black conservatives in the party, they participated in this. So the same people who are actually paying Candace's, depositing money into her bank account, many of these other conservatives have benefited from those same entities.
Okay, so you're now a black Republican.
I've been a Republican.
No. That's why I was trying. It was all over the place. I was trying to just understand what on the deal of what's going on. Okay, all right.
I've always, and anyone who knows me, when they ask what am I or whatever, I always actually reference that I'm a Republican because that's what I am, and I'm interested in bringing people into the Republican Party. That's exactly what I am.
Okay, here's a statement. Eugene Craig, of course, appears on our show often. He's the author of this statement, Black Conservative Statement on Candace Owens tweets. We, the undersigned black conservative leaders, unequivocally condemn the hate-filled and destructive words tweeted and spoken by Candace Owens in the freest county on the face of the earth. I think that meant country. In the freest country on the face of the earth, no black man deserves to be gunned down like a dog in the street. Blackness is not a weapon. Blackness is not a threat. The words spoken by Candace are not reflective of the black conservative movement and should be universally condemned by the broader conservative movement and all who support freedom and liberty. Her words provide shield and cover for these type of incidents to continue. This is not the role of the black conservative. Our hearts go out to Ahmaud. Actually, Ahmaud is misspelled. Ahmaud Arbery's family, and we continue to lift them in prayer. Black men and women have a right to live freely in this country. We all have a responsibility to protect that right. We have a responsibility to condemn, her hate-filled and inaccurate tweets and statements. The thing, Kelly, that was interesting about this, again, is that you immediately see, and this is where, so this segment is not, this ain't all about Candace. I don't give a damn because she's stupid. She dumb, and other people who follow her dumb too. But what you find is, who are the people who are the quickest to stand with the two men who killed Ahmaud Arbery? White conservatives. Mm-hmm. You think back to Zimmerman. Now, there have been conservatives, white conservatives, who said this is foul. Eric Erickson was like, I don't care what none of y'all say. I don't care if he was looking inside of a house. That is not licensed to shoot and kill this man. But when you look at these people who are the most vocal saying, oh, first y'all was saying hands up, don't shoot. Now y'all saying he was just jogging. It's real interesting. The people who most are likely to side with Travis and George McMichael are white conservatives.
I mean, it's not so interesting when you look at the history of the conservative movement and why people switched from being Democrats to conservatives back in the late 50s, early 60s during the civil rights movement, going from Dixiecrats to Republicans and the like. But what I will say is specifically when it comes to black conservatism, I am not part of that number, but I have observed that based off of the ideologies of my friends who are, I would be hard-pressed to consider a Black person who considers themselves conservative or Trump supporter to be true Republicans, because Trump himself does not align with the ideologies that I know of the Republican Party. So when Candace Owens saying, like, I agree with Malik to an extent when he said that Candace is a Trump supporter, but that's the only extent to which I will agree with Malik on this case, because her aligning with Trump, just by way of what Trump has done these past couple years and how his ideologies have come to light, I would venture to say that he's not truly a Republican. I would also venture to say that white supremacists aren't necessarily Republican, they're just not Democrat. And that's the problem with a bicameral party system, is that if you don't agree with one, it's kind of like you have to go to the other if you want your voice to be heard. And that's where we get a lot of conflating ideology. That's where we get a lot of false narratives when it comes to these parties and their ideologies. Because when you look at conservatism and when you look at the Republican Party and what their ideologies are, it's not that of Donald Trump. It's just conservative. Donald Trump is in a class of his own.
Well, and I think, but it's like the point I raised, Amisha, about the NRA. Will they stand with, they're supposed to all about, licensed gun owners and Second Amendment and defend yourself, but they are very much pro-cop. In the case of this brother in Louisville, okay, you're the NRA? Same thing I said when John Crawford was killed in that Walmart in Ohio. All right, NRA, show us what y'all really stand for. And the reality is they're more likely to stand for conservative ideals. And this is when Black people say, hold up, if y'all supposedly real, where are you on this one right here? And in this case here, automatically it's white conservatives and some Blacks sitting there running behind this case. And to Malik's point, you got Black conservatives who are like, yo, what the hell? What the hell? But what it's showing, Amisha, is showing you might think y'all in this thing together, but y'all ain't in this thing together. You might be Black and conservative. They might be white and conservative, but your ass still Black, Amisha.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the most salient points of all, because at the end of the day, whether somebody chooses to be a Black conservative because of the era of Trump and their grifters, like what we've seen from Candace Owens, or if they are a hardline conservative following all the conservative principles, you can never be conservative enough to erase your skin color or the burden that comes along with it. That is where we are in America. So Candace saying completely ridiculous things and comparing this death to the many deaths that she counted in Black on Black crime and, calling out LeBron James and going down a whole litany of ridiculousness to try to substantiate why a young man would literally be hunted down by two white men in a pickup truck with guns circa 1800s, 1952. We haven't seen this in America in a really long time, but somehow she thought that she was in a place to make a justification for it. That's a problem. I do applaud to a certain extent the Black conservatives who felt it necessary to come out and say something this time. But Candace Owens has railed against Black people for a long time. She has literally cast a name for herself by throwing all types of negativity on the Black population. She is what the Republican Party has wanted for a very long time. Someone who looked like a Black person, someone who spoke like a Black person, someone who couldn't walk into a room and be mistaken as anything other than a Black person, but someone who could also sell talking points of whiteness, talking points of racism, and it go over well. And now she's reached a point where people are calling her out, finally.
The thing here, again, Malik, at the end of the day, your ass might be as conservative as you want to be, but you Black. Hell, we don't know who Ahmaud Arbery voted for. We don't know any of that, but what we do know is he dead. And what we do know is the people who are standing with the individuals who shot him, who are trying to tear him down, are largely white conservatives. And then you got that fool Candace and others. But again, but this is where It don't matter. It's the same thing. Look, Cleo, others on this show, brothers and sisters who are same-gender loving will say, yeah, we gay, but you white gay, I'm black gay. You black conservative, I'm white conservative, yeah, but you black, still white. The reality is, white is the operative word, and white conservative is white.
It's white.
Born black, will die black. Go die black. That's exactly what it is. And what I've seen now, and I've been kind of witnessing over the past year or so, what I've seen now is that people have said, and it's usually, well, it's the number of conservatives that I've seen come out and speak out against it, the black conservatives, you know, this is a long time overdue. And like Amisha said, this isn't Candace's first time at the rodeo. It's just that this is the first time you've actually seen people willing to come out and criticize her. And the reason that they have not is because of what you said, Roland. So those white conservatives that you talk about, and I will say that I've met awesome white conservatives out there, absolutely awesome white conservatives. But the ones that Candace appeals to, where she appeals to their racism, their prejudice, and their bigotry, those are the people that you're talking about. The ones that will get on social media and say, well, what about black on black crime? Before the ink was dry, Candace came out of Twitter jail and started attacking Ahmaud. That's exactly what she did immediately when she came out of Twitter jail. And then she tried to kind of backtrack it and say, well, there may be other things. No, she did it because she does it because these are the people who pay her paychecks. And so that's what she has to continue to do. I don't know. And I've heard people say, well, you know, that we have a big tent. Yes, the conservative Republican Party has a very big tent, conservatives, whatever, very big tent. But for my purposes, Candace Amber Owens does not speak to me or any of my conservatism. She just doesn't.
Every single night, we've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Honore, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders. John Hope Bryant, he is the founder of Operation Hope. Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Cedrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Hardick, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach, Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Abear, Patel Salt, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, senior economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward. Dr. Oliver Brooks is president of the National Medical Association, president of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris. Joby Benjamin, Dr. Alexia Gaffney, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, Malcolm Nance, family medicine physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York, William Spriggs, AFL-CIO economist, Andrea James, executive director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she is a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and wellness specialist Dr. Yolandra Hancock. Desmond Meade, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Michael Harriet with The Root. Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand. Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president, Emerita Bennett College. Coroner Michael Fowler is the mayor of Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark. Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr. Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and Executive Director of the Illinois Medical District, Dr. Leon Madugal, President-elect of the National Medical Association, Jana Bailey, Mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi, Mario King. We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. Unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Last story here, folks. I keep telling y'all. Well, we know what the hell. You know what time. You know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Yeah, illegally selling water without a permit
On my property.
Whoa! Hey!
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, normally I do not show videos of children fighting.
But you're
okay,
going to.
I'm not done. Normally I don't show videos of children fighting. But when you have a little white kid who decides to roll up on a grown black woman and yell the N-word at her, and then, being a black mama, she says to her daughter, not her son, get on this. I'm sorry, I just could not resist myself. Okay, all I'm saying is, okay, when I saw the video, I couldn't.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
When she was like, get this.
Yeah, no, listen, you dropped.
She said more than that.
Let it be known.
Get this.
You dropped that word. There are no rules and everything's suspended.
Look, we played the
only
day.
rule.
The
only rule is to throw hands. Now look. If Scott made a pledge earlier. I do think for the culture, if anything happens from that video, I think Scott should defend that kid and that lady.
Scott,
from a litigation standpoint.
The mama was like, I ain't dealing with that. Get this.
Yep.
Okay.
Like we said, handle my light work.
There were crimes committed in that video.
Okay, what were the crimes committed?
It sounds like self-defense to me.
Hate crimes?
Assault. These kids couldn't have been more than, 6, 8, 10 years old?
Right.
There's a juvenile justice system. When the police get that video, and I know your public may not like me saying this, but the mama in regard to reckless endangerment, the kids in regard to being physically abusive to one another, and she encouraging it, I think a juvenile judge would be interested in
And guess what, Scott? You're going to defend that mama.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You're going to defend that mama.
I don't do juvenile crimes, but I will say this.
Scott, you're going to defend that mama.
They will go to mediation, and they will get help.
But you know a high-powered lawyer like yourself will
agencies
make sure that kid is fine, right?
Well, I don't care what the little white kid said. The mama shouldn't be encouraging violence. You shouldn't be encouraging violence.
Well, the thing is this. We got to care what the little white kids said.
Are you listening to me?
Little white kids, listen, little white kids using the N-word turning Little white kids using the N-word turning to grown white men using guns and using the N-word. So we got to care about what
reprimanded. She should have took that kid home.
He was reprimanded.
He was.
Yeah, well, he got his butt kicked.
He was reprimanded.
That's a reprimand.
Didn't stop him from keep coming. But what I'm saying is, we shouldn't.
no matter what the basis of violence is, it shouldn't be encouraged, and you shouldn't be running videos like that, because inherent and indirectly or directly, you're encouraging violence between young people, one black, one white.
You let
Stop
him say all of that.
You did it?
Yes.
It's funny.
Because I'm letting him, letting him finish his point.
Because I'm right.
Have
you seen it?
Because all
Look
the
what
folks,
he just did.
Because all the folks on YouTube, Facebook saying that's bullshit, Scott saying. That's why I let him finish it.
Regulated by somebody
You done?
on the internet? You ought to be regulated.
You done? Any other comment on this?
Government Scott down there.
Really?
Any other comment on this here? Hey, run that shit back.
I'm not watching it. Don't run it back.
Run that back.
Run it back. While he's down.
But what about,
you got at least 8 counts.
But what about when two people are fighting? Isn't there a difference when you have two people fighting back and forth?
Well,
you
can take into account who started it,
right?
Who's ending it. Force must be met with force for self-defense.
Isn't she liable for endangerment of a child?
Reckless endangerment of a child. Watch. Keep an eye on this story, ladies. Keep an eye on the story.
All I know is
we got Roland running a video of it.
All I know is Chad got his ass whooped by a sister in
it's
a
not
dress.
that funny. You ever got your ass whooped?
Sister in a dress with one house shoe on.
It's never fun.
It's never fun. All I'm simply saying is white people.
I think you got to be more responsible about
I'm being responsible. White people.
You are?
I'm advising y'all, do not raise your kids to yell the N-word at no grown black woman, especially when she got Layla Ali on her side. That's all I'm saying. You'll get your ass beat. I'm just saying.
I've never been more disappointed in you in my life.
And if you're a drunk, white woman on the plane, do not call the black male flight attendant the N-word when you got a sister sitting next to you who about to whoop your ass as well. All I'm saying is, as a public service announcement,
a public service
to all white Americans, it ain't gonna end well if you do that.
Violence is never the answer.
You're gonna end up on our crazy-ass white people segment.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, so a lot of y'all are always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a Shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they make these about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear, so we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these Shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, website. You can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, that goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Today, Senator Kamala Harris was on The View, and Meghan McCain threw out her defund the police question without even knowing what the hell it even means. Watch this.
Activists right now are calling for a defunding of the police. The Minneapolis City Council just agreed on a bill on this. Right before I came to tape the show, there was a clip on CNN from a Minneapolis City Councilwoman who said, quote, "It's a place of privilege if someone breaking into your home wants to call the police." This is gaining a lot of steam. Nancy Pelosi this morning just refused to answer if she would support defunding the police. I just want to know from you, do you support defunding and removing police from American communities? And if not, why do you think there's such a hard time being differentiated right now between defunding and reforming police departments?
So, Megan, I think that a big part of this conversation really is about reimagining how we do public safety in America, which I support, which is this. We have confused the idea that to achieve safety, you put more cops on the street, instead of understanding to achieve safe and healthy communities, you put more resources into the public education system of those communities, into affordable housing, into home ownership, into access to capital for small businesses, access to health care regardless of how much money people have. That's how you achieve safe and healthy communities. And so we really do need to understand and reimagine what and how we can actually make and help make communities safe. Because here's the bottom line. If you contrast, many communities which have a heavy presence of police to middle and upper middle class suburbs in America, you will not see that presence of police. But what you will see families who have an income that allows them to get through the end of the month. You will see good public schools. You will see people who have access to health care and can afford it. You will see people who have jobs. And so this has to be the conversation, which is how are we going to be smart in achieving what should be our collective goal, which is that all communities are safe, and knowing that safe communities are usually safe because they are healthy because of a number of things, including the economy, including education, including access to health care. And that's how I think about this. In many cities in America, over 1/3 of their city budget goes to police. So we have to have this conversation. What are we doing? What about the money going to social services? What about the money going to helping people with job training? What about helping with the mental health issues that communities are being plagued with, for which we're putting no resources? And here's the other thing. When I talk to law enforcement, they know that they don't want to be, nor are they skilled to be the ones who are responding to someone with mental illness or substance abuse or the homeless population. But in many cities, that's what's happening, because we are not directing those resources, those public resources, to where they need to go, which is addressing mental health, homelessness, substance abuse, so that we don't have to have a police response because we are smarter.
Senator, I hear you loud and clear, and I don't think there's any rational American right now who doesn't think that we need to take a cold, hard look at reforming our police. But there was a video that went viral over the weekend of the mayor of Minneapolis being yelled at, saying, yes or no question, are you for defunding the police? So I'm going to ask the same question the protesters asked him. Are you for defunding the police?
How are you defining defund the police?
Well, I'm not for anything remotely for that, so I would ask the protesters the same thing. But I assume and again, this is something that is new to me, I assume it's removing police, and as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar said, bringing in a whole new way of governing and law and order into a community. And my understanding, again, this is something that has just come into my understanding recently, is that you would not have police officers like this Minneapolis City Councilwoman said, that I would be a place of privilege if someone broke into my home and I wanted to call the police.
So, again, we need to reimagine how we are achieving.
Come on. Avis, your Senator Harris like, well, I got to answer this little child. First of all, you're saying, I assume. I'm just learning about this. Megan has no clue what the hell she's talking about. Kamala Harris just sat there and explained to you what defund the police is, and you have no idea. Okay, so Avis, you were tweeting about this. So is the issue the hashtag? Is it too complex? Or is the problem folks don't actually want to read? What is it?
Well, here it is. I kind of alluded to this earlier. Democrats need to be a lot more savvy when it comes to messaging. You know, we have great ideas, and I don't think anyone with 2 grains of sense would disagree with anything that Senator Harris just said there. Even Meghan McCain seemed to agree with what she was saying. The challenge is that the actual phrase that's being used to describe that can lead people to misinterpret what's being demanded here. When I hear the word defund, the original thought that comes to mind is to zero out a budget, right? That means that's what most people will believe. So it requires a lot of explanation and a lot of education to get people to the point where they really understand the broader arguments around it. Here's the challenge with politics. When you're explaining, you're losing. Period.
But the deal though, but Brittany,
and it seems like to me, if your argument is that you want to redirect funding and you have to go into greater detail, that's fine. To me, a better argument or a better thing to focus in on would be to say demilitarize the police. And then I think more people can get that and understand that, now I can go and explain other things that I might want to do with funding.
I disagree. I disagree because here's the problem, Brittany. Even if you say demilitarize the police, then that means, hold up, the police, they're the military? Hold on, the military is the Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force.
No, they're saying they saw the tank.
But that's not. But that's still a limited piece of terms of police reform. The real.
Yeah, but it sounds a whole. It makes more sense.
No, actually, it doesn't. Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Defunding Planned Parenthood. When people were making the argument about defunding Planned Parenthood, they weren't saying take the money from Planned Parenthood and put it into all these other places, but still make sure that Planned Parenthood exists. That wasn't
right.
The argument.
Because wait. But Avis, that's because
they were talking about bringing it to zero.
And that's because, that's because the people who were saying that got to define it. The problem here is
how else do you define?
No. Follow me here. The people who are in opposition to something. What you have here is
politics.
I understand. I understand politics as well. But my point is this here. You can explain defund the police means this. That's why Senator Kamala Harris, Brittany said, how do you define it, Megan? She explained it, but then Megan didn't want to hear the definition because Megan had in her own mind what it is. The point, Brittany, I believe, is that if you are for defunding the police, you must be in front of the narrative and not allow someone else to define what your meaning is. Brittany.
Roland, I absolutely agree. I've actually seen 2 different factions in terms of how we discuss defunding the police. I have seen people who believe that defunding the police means that we will still have police in the way that we think about it today. They will literally just have less funding. We will divest from policing, and we will invest in communities of color, as Kamala Harris just stated. But I've also seen people pushing for something different, which is to get rid of policing as we know it. And I think that they've used such examples as what's going on in Minneapolis. You know, we think about the University of Minneapolis contracts with, you know, they cancel their contracts with police. We see them being pulled out of, you know, the local school systems there. You know, we hear council members talking about completely revisioning what we know and understand policing to be in its current state. And I just real quickly, I want to go back to what Senator Booker said, which I thought was really interesting. He said, 4 months ago, I didn't even think this bill would have been possible. And what I thought was so powerful is, well, why is it possible now? And that's because the power of the people said it was possible. And, you know, at one point in the United States, we didn't think we could go without slavery. We didn't think we would have a world that had, you know, we could go without legal segregation. And yet here we are. And I think we're at a really key moment. And I just hope that we are continuing to radically think about a new world. Yeah, I just hope we continue to think about a radically different new world. But I bring up an excellent point in terms of the naming.
Maj, I think the key here is this here. I think the key is when people were asking the question to the mayor of Minneapolis, will you agree to defund the police? I think you've got to actually state what that is and not just sit on a phrase. That's all I'm saying here. I know Republicans are excellent with bumper sticker slogans that don't require explanation because a lot of their people who follow them are not smart. But go ahead.
Here's the thing about that, though. When we're dealing with our people that are still victims of that same horrible education system, you have to you gotta lead with empathy. And I can't be a little frustrated that I have a certain level of understanding because of the books that we read. Of course, you don't know. We haven't studied the same things. So I think everybody in the panel, to your point, Roland, which is like, come on, bro. You can't be talking about something that can't even pretty much explain. At the same time, when you're to First Sister's point, you have to be able to explain this in a manner. You got to applesauce it. Babies don't have teeth. You have to be able to give it to them in applesauce chunks. If these are the people that you're trying to explain, because like Brittany said, there's different packaging. It's no different than the riots. There are people that are there that are actively trying to peaceably protest, that see something that's wrong. They're trying to solve the problem with civil disobedience or unrest, whatever you want to call it. Then there's instigators, and then there's the guys that just want LeBron James sneakers, that just want to wait later. But the general public, when it's shown on television, they may have, unless it's explained and broken down, right? They may have that one view of a thing one way, and it can be incomplete. When a lot of these issues, I think we try to make them very simple, but again, it's a holistic process. In certain areas, we do need more reform. There's certain areas where they have not handled people the same way. There's other areas where 70% of that needs to get trashed. You can look at an Ahmaud Arbery situation. That whole that whole situation is horrible. But you may not have the same scenario there. I think that's an example of how we can explain that to people at different levels. And I think how Senator Harris asked her, well, what is your definition of defunding? So I can see where I'm actually meeting you at. Even though I did just explain this to you very thoroughly, I can kind of meet you somewhere in the middle.
I'm only making this point, and it's very simple. The people who are advocating for defund the police must control the narrative. What they can't do is allow the opposition to now define their own phrase and define their narrative. And that's why for those protesters, for the people who are organized behind this, there has to be a marketing campaign, a PR campaign that is clear, that is consistent. The phrase alone doesn't do it. That's the point I'm making. So when Megan asked the question, she didn't know jack about it. And so she was just asking the question solely based on the phrase. And what I'm saying is it requires an education process. Hopefully those behind it will do that and make this happen. Hopefully.
I agree. Just real quick. That's where Kaepernick failed. He did a perfect explanation of why he was taking a knee, of who he conferred with, a military man. That man told him it wouldn't be disrespectful because he was bringing attention to a thing.
Right.
That first interview, he explained it thoroughly. There's no way to mess it up. Then he disappeared. Then media hijacked the message. And so in that sense, absolutely.
Well, but also, his deal was he explained it, and he's not. Look, Colin's a very shy guy as well. That goes to it, and so it's all a part of that. I'm just saying, for the people out there who believe in the defunding the police and the concept, what I'm saying is control the narrative. Do not let the negative folks start telling you what it actually means, because that's where it's going to be a problem. And I can see it happening, but it hasn't taken foot yet. But we'll see what goes down. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, we want to thank the folks with Seek.com, CEEK.com, for partnering with us. This is Mary Spio is the creator, the innovator, the founder of this company. She, of course, designed these 4D 360-degree headphones that are absolutely amazing. We've got a partnership with them, folks. If you purchase these headphones, you can use the promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. Simply go to Seek.com. That's CEEK.com. Be sure to check it out. We thank them for partnering with us. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, let's talk about it. This, y'all know what time it is.
Charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Illegally selling water without a permit
On my property.
Whoa! Hey!
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
All right, folks, a brother tried to enjoy a day at the amusement park, but a white man called him out of his name, and it didn't really go over quite well.
Stop.
Let's get off. Stop. Relax. Relax.
Fuck you, stupid neighbor, man.
Oh my God.
Stop.
You gotta get up off the right.
Just saying, Greg, I've been saying it, you've been saying it.
Yes,
Y'all
man.
gonna run up on the wrong bruh.
Yes, sir. Can you believe that? See, I didn't hear that, Doc. So he called the woman a name. My man was going, yeah. You saw them white kids. They're like, we don't want no parts of this terror right here. But that, yeah, you right. Like you've been saying, you gonna get the right one day.
I don't know when they're gonna learn, Erica.
I think today might be a day that they start learning. But here's the other thing. I do love the statement that the company issued on behalf of the employee that was involved in this altercation. And they legit, and so this is really in the age of Twitter and Instagram statements, which really should be people being courageous and brave enough to do the things that they did, you know, when they were saying that they were about it, like do it up front. In their statement, they said that, listen, the conduct of this person that was an employee is not to be condoned. They weren't taking, well, the employee just responded. They quickly said and got out in front of that statement to say that, listen, what they didn't do was right. And so what we did was we terminated this employee, and we don't tolerate that. They considered their 24-year history ahead of kind of saying, well, we're going to investigate and we'll be able to make a decision later. So kudos to this company for coming out in front of this statement and making a declaration that, you know,
this man did what he needed to do to protect his family, and anybody that agitates and works for us will be dismissed.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, so a lot of y'all always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a Shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they make these about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear, so we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, you know, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, unlike because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these Shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, you can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, that goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I know y'all also saw this video here. Now y'all know she I got her cell phone number, her email. Paula White been avoiding me. Did y'all see her at that prayer rally for praying for Donald Trump? Lord, go ahead, y'all. Watch this here.
This ain't the one with the cat in it.
Hold on, just wait.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata rakate de baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. From South
So the angels from Africa are coming. But I thought Trump called them shithole countries. So I mean, so now all of a sudden, yeah, they coming. Oh, they coming
to take me away. They coming to take me away.
they coming for you now, y'all. There have been some absolutely hilarious remixes. Greg mentioned one of them. Here it is.
From Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here.
All right, they got some. Hold up, I'm looking for. Is this the one I'm looking for? Okay, watch this.
Until you have victory for every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike, and 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 strike, until you have victory. Until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike and strike and strike and strike. I hear a sound.
Oh, hold up. It's another one I saw that I just thought was just, oh my God. Is this the one here? Is this one? How about this one here?
For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory.
Y'all, I'm telling you.
Roland, you gotta, Roland, I just sent you one. This one is lit though. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting to get a white woman who's on the 1 and the 3, on the 2 and the 4.
All right, hold on. Let me.
This one is good.
Right.
This one is good.
Okay, let me check. Okay, all right, because you sent to me. Okay, I got to send to via email because I'm on the iPad. You send the text on my phone. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. Hold on, y'all. My God, these videos are funny. Let's see.
She actually reminded me of, remember when Jeremiah Wright kind of got his little digs in on Obama after Obama did his big race speech.
Yeah.
And he talked about how white people clap on the one.
Oh no, that was actually he gave that speech at the Detroit NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. I was sitting on the dais. I was literally 4 seats down from him. That was a trip. That was a trip there, y'all. So this is the one that Reese just sent me. Go.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. Done. It is done. The Lord says 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 it is victory, 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 victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. Victory, 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 victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. It is done. 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 The Lord says 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 it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory.
I got my dance already.
They're gonna accuse y'all of all being buck dancing sellouts. But here's the thing: we should take a minute to celebrate the fact that we still here. We cannot be killed, and we are going to win, and that includes everybody. So let's dance. Let's dance for a minute.
Hey.
We're gonna ball up our fist in a minute after this, but let's dance. That was funny.
Hey, I'm just like, hey, you know what, y'all? Go ahead, Reese.
Listen, it is done, and y'all can stay mad about it. But let me tell you something. I honestly, I don't know how much of a disincentive violence is for white people, but it can at least stop them in their tracks. So good on Miss Pearl, because Miss Pearl said, "Go on somewhere, go on now." People think that older, I've heard, we are not like our ancestors. You'll catch these hands. Our ancestors have the hands. Our elders have the hands. Okay, Miss Pearl can give you a beat down, so don't sleep on Miss Pearl. And Sherry, and I love how she said, "You acting like a clown out here. They'll read you down, beat your ass, then read you down, humiliate you." And she already had a little thing right here. But it was a fair fight. Don't step to Miss Pearl after she done told you to back the hell off, and you ain't got to worry about your eye. Get that eye together.
I mean, a woman told you, look, don't come over here. Don't come over here with that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what black church Paula White gonna be able to walk into when they fly his ass and drop him off at Mar-a-Lago. And I'm sorry, after this crap, and you let her in your pulpit, Erica, go ahead.
Listen, I'm glad that you teed that up that way, Roland, because, folks and I'm glad we're having a moment of laughing, but the folks that have really consolidated in with this son of a Klansman, they've told people who they are. And what's really sad about it is that Paula White does have a share of black women and men that attend her services. But here's the thing. Paula White and the son of a Klansman and all the rest of them are lying with no teeth. And where she is even more responsible is because as a person who says she was called of God, listen, that blood that's on that chick's hand is not coming off. So I've said this when I'm referencing 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, 15 through 17th verse, that it's more of us than it is of them. There's an invisible army that we can't see unless we ask for our eyes to be open and move in that strength. But that to the Marco Rubios, the Paula Whites, and all of these different people that have used faith as a way to gain what is temporal power, and really and really hurt people, black and brown and otherwise, is that there is a part that says, "Depart from me, I never knew you." And listen, for this little time that we have on earth, that is not something I would want to hear repeated back to me by what my faith says. And so I think people just remember that these are mere mortals. This is a time in humanity. She is a lion with no teeth. And just like the folks that she signed up with, she has no power.
Okay. Greg, I got one more.
That's right.
I got one more, Greg. I got one more.
Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here.
Angels from where are being dispatched? I know she did not say Africa. You better call on some American angels. We are angels from Africa. We got African responsibility. You better call on Charlie's Angels, Angels in the Outfield, Devil's Food Cake Angels, Anaheim Angels. We is not helping y'all. No, you got us messed up. Michael, do you hear this? Paula White, runga tanga duck. You is wronga tonga nothing. We is not coming to help y'all. That is American problems, girl. You tripping. No.
For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, I think Erica framed it. Erica put it in the cosmic sense. We only here for a minute in these bodies, brother. These people have a reckoning that's coming. You always talking about the reckoning, Roland. There are a number of reckonings. And we saw that in Mississippi. That sister put her hand up. You see how Reese be putting her hand up? She put her hand up, and then when she touched it, she said, okay, now I got to handle you. And I don't know. Her technique was a little bit different. She choked her out. I think maybe Erica probably would have gave her that two-piece. But in terms of that last one right there, it's funny because I think about the fact that the hurricanes start, the Gulf, the stream, the water, and then the currents in the atmosphere start off the coast of West Africa. And a lot of people will say, I won't say I'll sound like Trump, a lot of people. You often hear African spiritualists say that is for the sin of the enslavement. Those boats came along those same currents. Then that's where the hurricanes come from. So Paula, don't call on no African angels, because I promise you, you really don't want what they're gonna bring. Because if they come for you, there won't be any pleading. In fact, what am I saying? We're already here. We'll see you. We'll see you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this Black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you listen to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound, so literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. You saw those two commercials from John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. Evangelical voters are going to be playing a critical role in Georgia on January 5th. Now, surveys of early voters and exit polls this year showed between 76 to 81% of white evangelicals and born-again voters supporting Donald Trump. That's according to the National Election Pool and AP Votecast. Now, the conservative evangelical Christians who helped send Donald Trump to the White House 4 years ago stuck by him in 2020. White evangelical voters made up 23% of the vote nationwide and overwhelmingly favored Trump, with about 8 in 10 backing him. Let's talk with Reverend Dr. William J. Barber, President and Senior Lecturer for Repairs of the Breach, and Reverend Dr. Barbara Williams Skinner, Co-Chair of the National Black Clergy Network, and also Reverend Jamal Bryant, Senior Pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. Jamal, I want to start with you for a couple of reasons. Last week we played the video. A lot of people saw the video of Paula White, and she was, praying against everybody for Donald Trump, for him to win, and then she got a lot of pushback and criticism. And so she dropped this video here as a way of talking back to her haters.
You have my number. I've got over 6,000 people that got my phone number. You've got my number, all right? You know exactly. I'll be bold enough to say how to call me. Don't be a coward and put something out on the internet when you have my number. Call me. Call me. Because we'll sit up here and I'll have you come here and we'll talk about it. We'll sit here. Don't have me call some things out. You call. Okay, I expect the world to. You guys go ahead.
Well, Jamal, she said, don't have me call some things out. Well, Paula, let me call a few things out. Jamal, on August 22nd, 2017, after she made some previous comments on Jim Baker's show, I sent her an email and said, we need to talk. She responded to me saying she would do so when she got back out of the country. She said her comments were taken out of context. She never called. Then on November 21st, 2017, I emailed her again saying, we need to talk. She said, quote, I'm fly to Ghana this Friday. Looking forward to being back there. I return the following week. Let's talk when I return. She never called. On October 15th, 2018 at 1:15 p.m., I sent her another email saying, we need to talk, saying it has been a year since I last emailed you. She never responded. I've emailed her, I have texted her, I've called her. I know for a fact that Reverend Dr. William J. Barber has has asked to, and made it clear he would happily debate the likes of Franklin Graham and Jerry Falwell Jr. and others. They refused to debate. In fact, Jerry Falwell Jr. ordered, when he was running Liberty, ordered the police, if Reverend Barber or anybody from his group who was in Lynchburg stepped foot on the campus, to arrest them. These white evangelicals don't really want to have a dialogue with us, Pastor Jamal Bryant. They care about two things. They care about abortion, and they care about getting rid of all gay folk.
Well, you've got several problems layered, Roland. First, let me thank you for being consistent in raising your voice for us. But you've got two issues here for evangelicals who claim to be pro-life for Black babies, but they're not pro-life for grown Black people. So the evangelicals went completely mute around George Floyd, around Breonna Taylor, around Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray. They're not really pro-life. It is only at the place of those who like baby Jesus, as long as he's in a manger. But they don't like grown Jesus when he starts kicking over tables. The second issue, different from Franklin Graham with Paula White, Roland, is the Black church made her. And so there's blood dripping on our hands because we put her on stages, platforms, and programs where we never push sisters with stellar gift, capacity, skill, and credentials, but we let her float through. And now it's what Malcolm X calls the chickens are coming home to roost. And I think that last Pandora's box that opened was her calling in for African angels to support Donald Trump, when she forgot that that was the same land that he cursed as whole nations. And so I responded to that video you just posted, saying, let's have a dialogue, asking, in fact, without knowing the information you just shared, for you to be the moderator. But the Black church has got to have a real come to Jesus meeting about what we promote and understanding what is the slave Americanized religion that has so many of our people sitting in the balcony, but they're not allowed in the finance room.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, I want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this Black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you're listening to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound. So literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I'm going to play this video. Y'all, this was 4 years ago. This was 4 years ago. And I want you to listen to what I said 4 years ago, shortly after these idiots put Donald Trump in the White House. Let's get right to the issue at hand. Y'all have already been talking about it. We've been discussing it right here on TV One. After yesterday's despicable news conference by President Donald Trump, I was in my car trying to decide what is it that I wanted to listen to put into proper context my feelings about what we heard. And I thought back to the first black woman elected from the South since Reconstruction, Congresswoman Barbara Jordan of Houston. Here's what she had to say in 1973 at the Watergate hearings.
Earlier today, we heard the beginning of the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We the people. It's a very eloquent beginning. But when that document was completed on the 17th of September in 1787, I was not included in that we the people. I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in we the people. Today, I am an inquisitor, and hyperbole would not be fictional and would not overstate the solemnness that I feel right now. My faith in the Constitution is whole, it is complete, and I am not going to sit here and be an idle spectator to the diminution, the subversion, the destruction of the Constitution.
Sybil, just like Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, I will not be an idle spectator for a white supremacist sitting in the White House. I will not be an idle spectator to see Donald Trump walk in the footsteps of Republican Herbert Hoover, who led the Lily White movement when he was president from 1929 to 1933. I will not sit idly by to see Donald Trump act like Democrat Woodrow Wilson, one of the most violent racists we've ever had served in the office of the president. The fact of the matter is yesterday's news conference was shameful. It was despicable. It was him giving the middle finger to black people, to Jews, to Hispanics, to Asians, to women, to white people of conscience. This is a president who has no shame. He is an immoral leader. Now, I know some people out there will say, well, he was elected. But yes, but guess what? Wilson was elected. So was Hoover was elected, and other racists who have served in that particular White House. What this man has done by aligning himself with neo-Nazis and with white supremacists is shameful and should not go unchecked. But it's not just a question of going unchecked. We must do more than simply tweet and comment on Facebook. This is a challenge. This is a declaration of war. Tom, for 398 years, black folks have been fighting this country to ensure that it lives up to its ideals. For 398 years, we made it perfectly clear we're not going to sit idly by and allow ourselves to be embarrassed and run over and shamed by white supremacists. This is the 190th anniversary of the first black newspaper, Freedom's Journal, which was founded in March 1827. In their lead editorial, they wrote, "We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us." This is a moment where we don't need anybody else to speak for us. We can speak with clarity and with precision as to exactly what is required of us. And what this requires, it requires alphas and kappas and omegas and sigmas, iotas, AKAs, deltas, zetas, sigma gamma rho, the links. It requires the Prince Hall Masons. It requires me, phi, me. It requires people of conscience to stand up, whether you are bougie, whether you are grassroots, whether you are no matter where you are, it requires black people and other people of conscience to say we are going to oppose any effort to go back to the days of Jim Crow, to go back to the days after Reconstruction when you had the Redeemer movement by Democrats, when the Lily White movement by white folks as well in this country on the Republican side. We have seen this before, and every time it has happened, we fought back. And what that means is it's time for folks to stand up and mobilize and organize. It means that when it comes to the ballot box, I don't care who you are. I don't want to hear anybody say my vote does not matter, because when you see a white supremacist at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, all you need, that's the only proof you need to show your vote does indeed matter. What that means is we need people in Virginia, in Tennessee, in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Texas, in Georgia, in Florida, in Illinois, in California, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania to say enough is enough. What it means for us to go to city council meetings, county commissioner meetings, state meetings, go to the governor's mansion and say we are going to rain holy hell down on any politician who stands with Donald Trump. If you think we are playing, you are wrong. The previous generation, the baby boomers, they stood up. Our grandmothers and grandfathers stood up. Our mothers and fathers stood up. It is time for Gen X and Gen Y and millennial generation to stand up and say we are going to take this fight on and go after anybody who stands in our path. I will not stand idly by and listen to Donald Trump anymore. I will not listen to a man who is an immoral leader. I will not listen to anybody, whether they are black Republican, who agrees with him, who voted for him, who continues to apologize for him. And you will be name-checked, you will be embarrassed, and you will not be invited to anything that involves black people. It is time for us to call people out. It is time for us to realize that we cannot wait. In 2018, we're going to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Dr. King being assassinated. We're going to focus on the 50th anniversary of the Kerner Commission's report on the race riots in 1967. Do understand this is a moment where people are going to have to decide whose side they are on. Are you on the side of righteousness, or are you on the side of bigotry? Are you on the side of just people, or are you on the side of white supremacists? There is not going to be any effort to say I can stand on either one. And I don't care who you are, if you're a Republican or Democrat, you have been served notice. If you stand with this man, if you support white nationalist policies, we are going to take you out at the ballot box and put people of conscience in. Heather Heyer is going to be buried today. She is a 21st century version of Viola Liuzzo, a white woman from Michigan who died trying to help black folks to vote. This is not a black thing or Hispanic thing or Asian thing. It's a conscious thing. This is a battle for the soul of America. And like the Tuskegee Airmen said, we will fight to the last hour, to the last minute, to the last second. We will fight, fight, fight. Number 45, game on.
Greg Carr, you were sitting on that set.
Yeah. Sitting next to Liz Copeland. That's right.
That has to be our attitude for the next 81 days.
Well, for our whole lives, Roland, I think what we just watched, and by the way, whether it be Lawrence O'Donnell and eventually Chris Hayes and others who have followed in the wake, you've been saying that from day one. Now they become more emboldened, Don Lemon and others.
Well, they won't invite me on their shows, but go ahead.
Oh, no, they won't, but they watch yours because it took them 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, but they finally start talking like that a little bit. They still ain't, got a whole lot of bass in their voice. But the important thing, I think, that we just saw there, it's funny when you say immoral leader. See, you believe in something that's bigger than the United States. That was a sermon. And I think that is the one thing that you and I and Reese and Erica and our people have in common with Larry Kudlow. We have faith, but our faith, and I love Barbara Jordan. I mean, brilliant orator. When Barbara Jordan said her faith in the Constitution is perfect, I appreciate that. I honor that. But at some point, we're going to have a real conversation with that, because my reading is she's making a fundamental mistake, because that immorality you were talking about isn't derived from reading the U.S. Constitution. I suspect it's informed much more by the Christian Bible. And Larry Kudlow has a faith as well. His faith is in white nationalism and money. And that's bigger than the United States. See, the United States, you got to think United States, that's why he says it's not our game. The United States is a game. It's a state. That means it doesn't have an anchor in a thing beyond itself. So when we go to biblical scripture and it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay, the substance of things hoped for, that's that aspirational America that Barack Obama was talking about, that we thought once we got one person in, it's going to do something, which is why I did what you suggested. I went to vote.org. I checked. I voted a couple of months ago. I still went. I even kicked a little money into them. I'm going to vote for Biden Harris, and when they get inaugurated, I'm going to work like hell to bend them to the will of the people, because I don't care who's in office, because we got to understand our faith can't be in politics as the end, because when we understand, cut those faith is in money and white nationalism. So is Trump. Right. So is this little creature right here, Stephen Miller. This book just came out, Hate Monger. This is the book on Stephen Miller, 34 years old, sitting up there. I have nothing in common with this man, but what they count on, which is why people being civil, what they count on is the idea that somehow the American Negro, sometime between when the boats pulled up and now, converted our faith in something much bigger than the United States to a faith in the United States. And see, that then is like in basketball, when you pick up your dribble and freeze the person who's playing defense. They think they can freeze us by continuing to say, well, you have to subpoena us, and then you have to come and appeal to the court. Meanwhile, they understand they don't give a damn about none of that. Their faith is in something else. Now, what they don't understand, finally, about us is that our faith was always in something else, too. So even though Barbara Jordan can say her faith in the Constitution is perfect, trust me, her mom and them, her family and them, their faith was in something bigger than that. And woe be the day, white nationalists, when you wreck your little experiment, because you're going to find out that we never believed in the United States as the end all and be all. And once we become clear that you don't believe in it, we might actually make some progress, because we just tear this whole damn thing down.
And that really is what we're talking about, because we are dealing with a man who will flout the law, who does not care. For all of Barack Obama's cautiousness, his patience, his sense of decency and respect, this man has said, I don't give a damn about any of that. And the white folks who are supporting him, and those few Latinos, and those few black people, and the rest of them, what they are saying is, we got no problem with the thug in chief. See, that's why after the next 82 days, I don't want to hear a damn thing for none of them. None of them. See, I don't want to hear Newt Gingrich talking trash about Senator Kamala Harris. I don't want to hear Newt Gingrich, who actually, let me just pull up, because I just want y'all to understand what we're dealing with here. Because when you're dealing with these thugs who have no sense of decency, when you're dealing with that idiot Jerry Falwell Jr., who they had to replace because he was just so pathetic, so-called Christian university. This is what Newt Gingrich tweeted on yesterday. Kamala Harris is such an aggressive personality that she will quickly join Pelosi and Schumer in dominating Biden. As Biden grows weaker and weaker, the election will focus on Harris's radical left positions and her ruthless use of government power to impose radical values. Nobody. Well, actually, I'm going to take one line from Greg. See, Gingrich can speak about being ruthless and using government power, because that's what that thug did. That's what he did when he took out Jim Wright. That's what that thug did. And see, you want to talk about Senator Kamala Harris, aggressive personality? How aggressive can you be when your wife is sick and you cheating on her and you ask her for a divorce from the hospital bed? Oh, yeah, I went there. Because, see, I'm not going to hear a lecture from any of these fraudulent individuals. Damn you, Franklin Graham. Damn you, Ralph Reed. Damn you, Robert Jeffers. Damn you, all of you fake Paula White, you too. Damn all of you fake Christians who say nothing about this immoral man. You say nothing about his birther wife, who has yet to apologize to Michelle Obama and Barack Obama for her birtherism. And now, all of a sudden, now, y'all want to bring up birtherism again. You had some fool who got beaten by Kamala Harris, who writes a piece in Newsweek trying to somehow suggest, is she actually an American? Is she legitimate? Can she be on the ticket? And then the folks at Newsweek want to sit here and say, oh, y'all got this whole thing wrong. Why we ran it? Hell no, you ran it. That's why we not going to read you. What I'm trying to get all y'all to understand, I said this means war. And let me tell y'all something. I remember getting a phone call from the CEO of TV One. What are you doing? And then the president of the network, what are you doing? I said, damn it, I'm laying down a marker.
Right.
Because I needed them to understand that you can't be black media. You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
Preach, Roland.
You can't. Where do we go from here, chaos or community? Dr. King said there are 4 institutions that are prime position to lead black folks to liberation. He said the black church, the black press, Negro fraternities and sororities, and black professional organizations. He specifically said the black press must maintain its militancy and not fall to the conservative. And that really is the fundamental problem. That's really where we are right now. See, that's why I'm not playing games when it comes to these folk, when it comes to spending dollars with black-owned media. I'm not accepting pennies on the dollar. No, I want the whole damn dollar.
Come on.
And so at some point, this is the moment when black folks have got this generation. Reese, this generation has got to have the damn courage that they mamas and daddies and grandmothers and grandfathers had. Otherwise, these folk will run over us if we don't.
Yep.
Listen, Roland, I have stomped a hole in anybody that has come for Kamala Harris, Democrat or Republican. I went to war with Chris Dodd, Ed Rendell, David Axelrod. I am never scared. And if I could go to war with Democrats and rip their ass apart, you can better believe when it comes to these Republicans, I'm about to tap that ass for the next 80 days and however long it takes to get these motherfuckers out of office. And so we have to stop with the civility. We have to stop with the mincing words. We have to stop with kowtowing and the buck dancing and being afraid to call it what it is. That same energy that people have and going against the black folks, the people like the CBC members or Senator Kamala Harris, who's making history now, take that energy towards Mitch McConnell. Take that energy towards Donald Trump. Take that energy towards the Postmaster General. We have the ability to get outraged. We have the ability to go to war. But unfortunately, we spend so much time going to war with the people that we need to be joining arms with, at least for the next 83 days. Whatever problem you have or whoever the hell you have a problem with in the Democratic Party, you got to set that aside because these Republicans are ruthless and we have to be even more ruthless. We have to ruffle even more feathers. We have to shake the table like we haven't shaken it before. And we got to take the energy towards those who will keep their foots on our necks. And if we do not win in November, we are done. We are done. And I know Dr. Carr says that this, he's fine to see this American experiment kind of go a certain way. I don't have that kind of faith, Dr. Carr, about what's on the other side of that. So for me, I'm trying to see us get back to where we need to get to and make sure that we take out the people that need to be taken out, and that's Donald Trump and all his cronies.
And Erica, here's the deal.
That's right.
I got white folks who watch the show who actually sent money in. I need them to have the same courage. There's a reason in that commentary I mentioned Viola Liuzzo. There's a reason I can mention James Reed. There's a reason, because there were white folks who died during the Black Freedom Movement. And we've seen white folks of courage out in these streets dealing with Black Lives Matter. But this is the moment where, like I keep saying, this can't be close. This election cannot be close. Donald Trump and the Republican Party, they already plan to sue. Already. No. You got to beat his ass by 500,000 votes in Florida and in Texas and in Georgia. You got to beat him by 500,000. Like my man said in Remember the Titans, Herman, leave no doubt.
That's right. That's right. And, honestly, what you and Reese said, it's time to pass the collection plate. Listen, this is war, right? Roland has said it, Reese has laid it out, and I'm sure Dr. Carr is going to really kind of put the icing on the cake. But this is war. And for the amount of time, and I have to continue to go back to this because honestly, it's a case against the simples and about it. If you are a simple person, then a simple person would be more relegated to kind of having these arguments and comments in social media, talking about things that don't have any type of bearing over your liberties and over the semblance of freedom that we do have remaining. This is a time to focus. And so again, what Reese talked about is all of that energy that people put towards biting and talking about the 55, I believe it is, members of the Congressional Black Caucus. People talk about folks that are doing the unsexy behind the scenes work as legislators to ensure that there is a voice at the table that is representative of Black folks, their constituencies, working class, poor, rural, all of that, to actually put that energy into, as we've been talking about for quite some time here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, get your voting plan together. Because see, what you're not going to hear in the birther conversation is Raphael Edward Cruz, a.k.a. Ted Cruz, who was born in Canada, okay, whose father actually claimed political asylum here in the United States from Cuba. You're not going to hear about the late John McCain that was born in Panama, but you will hear it around Black-facing folks. So honestly, people need to step away from the conversation, calling into question who Kamala Harris is. She's a Black woman, damn it. She has led on the executive level. Anything you need to know about comprehensively around Senator Kamala Harris, go see Reese, go to her Twitter page. She has a few threads that comprehensively lay out these really simple conversations where people are trying to wax poetic about what they don't know about. Listen, if you want to have some semblance of what remains of this democracy come November 4th, get your voting plan together. Shut the hell up with the silly, simple talk that gets you nowhere, that does not get us closer to actually having a national strategy, to actually paving the way into making some real inroads around these different crises that we have going on, as we saw in the Biden-Harris press conference this afternoon, and get ready to vote, period.
Greg, this and Greg, and I really need people listening to understand. First of all, we got right now. We got it's we about to hit 7,000 on YouTube. We almost got 2,000 on Facebook. But here's the deal, and I did an interview earlier today. The big problem we also facing with right now, and just y'all, for those of y'all who got kids watching, I'm giving you a warning in advance. The fundamental problem is we're being fed too much bullshit from Black media.
Oh God.
We're being fed games. We've been fed music and gossip. Y'all need to understand. Look, we ain't playing here. Greg, this thing for me, when I say it's war, I'm 51. I'll be 52 in November. I'm not approaching this election about me. This is about my nieces and nephews. This is about their unborn children. That's what this is about. And let me also be clear, Greg, and I want you to speak to this here. I need everybody to understand, when I say hashtag fire Trump in November, Roland is not saying I'm going to give the Democratic Party and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris easy. No. I'm not giving them runway. No. Yeah. I need y'all to understand. I plan on holding them accountable to issues. And y'all can go check my record. Go pull the Essence article that I ran in January 2009. Go pull what I said. Go pull what I wrote in my book, The First, President Barack Obama's Road to the White House, as originally reported by Roland S. Martin. Go pull the 4 years of Washington Watch and the 4 years of News One Now, when I was sitting here holding them accountable. There's a reason I did not get an exit interview. So I need y'all to understand, this ain't about, you being a Democrat. No, what this is about is the fact that if that man, Trump, and Pence, two of the most evil folks you've ever seen, they will control appointing half of all federal judges in America. They've already appointed 203. There are only 800 or so. They get 4 more years. They're going to hit 500. Easy. This is about them rolling back environmental protection, rolling back civil rights. The man has already said this, white folks in suburbia, oh, I ain't letting no low-income folk come out here. He ain't got no housing plan. His opportunity zones, they can't even provide us information. I sent an email 2 months ago saying, where's the information on how it's going? They didn't even respond. And so I need y'all to understand what these folks want to do. They absolutely, Greg, want to cement white nationalism for the next 2 generations. That's the game plan.
Well, it absolutely is. And of course, it's not going to work because the country will just fracture. So, yeah, Reese, I'm not looking forward to it. I would prefer, because our people will be the ones hit. But if they do steal this election, it won't mean the end of the people who live in the country. It's just going to mean the country's going to fracture. Because California is not going to keep carrying the Dakotas. You see, Georgia and Texas are changing demographically, and New York is not going to keep carrying Iowa and Montana. I mean, so what will happen is this thing is going to come apart. So if you want this country to continue in its current configuration, you better go out there and vote. Now, I have friends and colleagues. We debate, we argue, and I agree with their general assessment in terms of how nations come and go. But they are they're more willing to see that happen. So some of them will sit that out. Right. And so, I understand their philosophy, but I also say it's our people who are going to get hurt. And it's important to understand, I've been spending a lot of time over the last month and a half since C.T. Vivian and John Lewis left, in the wee hours of the morning, flipping through books and rereading, and then listening to some of these elders who I know who are still here, like Dory Ladner and them from Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. These were teenagers and 20-somethings, man. When you mention Paula Luizo, she's a younger. I mean, you know what I'm saying? These are young people. They're 17, 18, 19 years. John Lewis, 19 years old when Kelly Miller Smith told him go over there and hang out with James Lawson, who's still alive. So understand when young people say, well, y'all old people, hold on, slow down. Because guess what? I ain't saying they was listening to the 1961 version of WAP, Megan and them, but it ain't like that. No, I'm saying, but they weren't listening to all bubblegum when they were in there risking their entire lives in Lowndes County, Alabama, and in Mississippi Delta. They were having fun. They were sleeping with each other. They had all kind of intrigue. Read Stokely Carmichael Ready for Revolution. Read James Farmer, The Making of Black Revolutionaries. Look up who Ruby Doris Smith Robinson is, Keisha Lance Bottom's auntie. They were having the same fun young people are having now. They listen to the music. They doing what they doing. They grinding. They doing it. And then they put their entire lives on the line, not for the red, white, and blue, but for something deeper than that. For the idea that if you are a human being who draws breath on the earth, you should have a dignity that we respect. And in respecting your dignity, I respect my own. That's a bigger principle than this crap we call the American Constitution or the American dream. That's not what they were talking about. Now, they wrapped it in that because they understood that was the bridge some people have to walk across to believe that they have something to hold on to. That's why I said, when you talk about faith being the evidence of things not seen, that don't mean the thing don't exist. It means you can't see it yet. And that's what these white nationalists have relied on. For us, they keep waving the flag and the Constitution, and they say, now, we don't believe it, but we think you do. So therefore, if you just hold on a little longer, well, guess what? You've overplayed your hand now. So I guess what I'm saying is, in conclusion, the idea that we are at war, like what Erica said, Erica's right. We are at war, and this war isn't just about an election, but without the election, the other thing comes quicker. And what is the other thing? The other thing, even about the fracturing of the United States, the other thing is about this ball we live on is getting ready to reset and get rid of all the humans on it. That's the that's the rollback of environmental regulation. Yep. When you see this cotton candy melting, brain-addled, riddled clown stumble his increasingly obtuse ass over into Europe and say United States is withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accords. Those accords weren't even the thing. They were a gesture toward the thing. But guess what? If you get another 4 years of them, you ain't got to worry about what your politics are. And you talk about we can't breathe. Guess what? Can't nobody breathe. Because these devils right here getting ready to blow it up. And the earth is going to be like, we're tired of the species now. Y'all should have contained that 500 years ago. But your cousins that came out of Western Eurasia and messed this thing up, now everybody got to pay the bill. So when you see this little punk mayor, like this little town, oh, Roland, I can't think of the guy's name. In Virginia, they called Kamala Harris, Aunt Jemima today. I mean, you all are so damn racist that you can't see what these young people in Mississippi and Alabama in the 1960s, people like John Lewis and Dory Ladner and Joyce Ladner and their little bit older mentors like Medgar Wiley Evers, you can't see what they see. We gonna save ourselves if we can, and if it means saving you too, then we gonna save you too. But please don't mistake that from we value your life more than ours. Please don't mistake it for that. So you young people talking about y'all ain't gonna vote? Just go on vote.org, see if you're registered, if you're not registered, and go on pull the lever for Biden and Harris. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't believe that's the ultimate goal, but that's a weapon. And Erica done told y'all we are at war. So pull that lever, and once they get in there, you tell them, now I want Medicare for all. I don't care whether you believe it in or not. I'm going to get everybody out here, and if you don't like it, I'm going to primary you like my man Jamal Bowman did and got rid of Elliot Ingalls. I'm going to primary you like Cori Bush did in St. Louis and got rid of Clay. I mean, look, we ain't got to agree, but get them in the office first. Please. That's the, in fact, I should say this, Roland. I know I went on for a while, but last night you talked about Shirley Chisholm. I was watching because I spent a lot of time rereading the stuff in the lead up to the meeting in 1972 in Gary, Indiana. Shirley Chisholm didn't go to the Gary convention. Percy Sutton in New York supported her for running for president, but guys like the Stokes brothers and them didn't support her, and she called them out for being sexist and all that. But in the prelim meeting to the Gary convention, Shirley Chisholm said something very interesting. She said, you know, I don't think we can have a convention where we can all unify because black people have too many different ideological differences. I don't think we can come together. And, you know, whether she was right or wrong, that's something that we're going to have to address. Because on some things, like this next 80-some days, we're going to have to be like Marcus Garvey, whose birthday is Monday. We're going to have to be one God, one aim, one destiny. That we can fight all the way to the poll, vote, fight all the way back, and then keep fighting. But damn it, if you don't do this right here, it ain't going to be no poll to vote for because the flood coming and the sun going to bake your ass. And the next thing you know, we can have this argument in the ancestral realm because it ain't going to be no place on earth for us to live.
Let me close this out this way. I saw this comment on YouTube by Mike Locke, and he said, well, Biden, Harris aren't the ones to believe in. Let me just, I said it on Instagram, and I said it now. Y'all, it's two choices. Y'all are more than happy to bring up the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, and anybody else, they ain't got no shot. It's two choices. Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris.
Right.
Your thinking should be, of those two choices, which one am I more likely to be able to talk with and push to get what I want? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris?
That's right.
This is not saying, oh, I'm in love with Trump, Pence, and Biden, Harris.
Exactly.
This is not about I'm good with Trump, Pence, and Biden, Harris. What this is about is who am I likely to see in voter suppression? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? Who am I likely to see support police consent decrees? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? Who am I more likely to see with a housing plan to increase black home ownership? Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris. Who am I more likely to see put in their budget funds to deal with black women and the troubling issue of having children? Trump, Pence.
That's right.
The so-called pro-lifers and Biden, Harris. Who am I more likely to see reinstate the Obama-era law that protected black people from auto discrimination? The team that actually reversed it, Trump, Pence, or Biden-Harris that actually had it passed when he was vice president? Who is more likely going to advance civil rights? Trump-Pence, who's rolling it back, or Biden-Harris? See, these are real basic. These are real basic and fundamental. And so what you have to say is, okay, I got to make a decision here. And what I got to say is, these are the issues that I care about. Okay, and okay, who am I going to go with? And as Greg said, when I do it, I am then going to put pressure on you to ensure that you do it. Right now, who's ignoring you? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? Who has actually talked with black media, which means talking to black people? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? That really, folks, is how you make decisions. I don't have to like anybody. I don't have to love anybody. But what you do have to do is like and love yourself.
Yes, sir.
And your children. And your nieces and nephews. And your aunts and uncles. And your mamas and daddies. And your neighbors. And your frat brothers, your sorority sisters. And your church members. And your Boulay brothers. And your Prince Hall Mason brothers. And your Eastern Star sisters. I can go down the whole line. You got to make a decision. Do I love me and my people enough to actually use the one thing that they've been trying to take from me? And if they have worked that hard to take your vote, if y'all realize Desmond and Sheena Meade spent 10 years trying to get Amendment 4 on the ballot and approved in Florida? Y'all, 10 years. And when they did, Florida Republicans changed the law to make it harder to get ballot initiatives. They were fine with Republican ballot initiatives, but they made it harder after those black folks with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition aligned with white people in Florida and Latino people in Florida and Asian people in Florida, and that sucker passed more than 65%. The Republicans like, no, hell no, we gonna make this even more difficult. Y'all, it took them 10 years. And they are still fighting it. So you gotta vote. You gotta say, who's with that amendment? Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris.
That's right.
That's what you gotta decide. And then what you gotta do in this COVID world, I need every single one of y'all to do this here. I need every single, y'all, it's 6,785 of y'all watching right now on YouTube. It's 1,400 watching on Facebook. It's 128 watching on Periscope. I need every single one of you. So that right there, y'all, is 81. That's 8,200. If every single person watches, and if every single person says, watching, I am going to reach out to 10 people, minimum. That means just the people. I need y'all. Y'all, I need y'all to listen to what I'm about to say. See, I love it when God just drops it. There are 8,200 people watching this show live. If every person watching this show reaches out to 10 people who are not registered to vote, just the people watching this show will reach more people than was the winning vote margin for Donald Trump in 2016. 8,200 people times 10 is 82,000. Donald Trump won by 78,000 votes. So just everybody watching, you could, if everybody does 10, you could actually get more people registered than the actual vote, the margin of victory for Trump in 2016. All I'm asking you to do is reach 10. That's all. Every one of y'all know at least 10 people. That's all I'm saying. You can't, and let me be clear, you cannot be in a war if there are no troops to fight the battle.
That's right.
You can't keep asking for generals to come up with the game plan, the battle plan, to then rally the troops if ain't no troops. That's why we all got to be in this thing. And it's the same reason why, look, y'all got to tell, I need all y'all tell them, watch this show. Tell them folks, stop watching mess. Turn them damn reality shows off you see on OWN and VH1 and TV1 and all them damn networks. All they are doing are feeding us nonsense every single day. I don't care. I don't watch, I don't allow that bullshit in my house because if it ain't feeding this, it's two things. It's two things, y'all. Fertile minds will grow, or if you infect fertile minds with weeds, it would destroy the soil. That's why we do what we do.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's 6. Black-owned company, Mary Spio owns it. She created a couple of these great products here, folks. One of them is this VR headset right here. You can just take your smartphone, drop it right into here, close this up, put this thing on your head, and you can actually go to their site or watch 360-degree video right here, virtual reality video with this headset. Of course, they have content on Seek.com. You can actually subscribe to that. So that's a pretty cool headset right there. Then also they have these 360-degree 4D headphones. And so you can, of course, amazing bass. You can also, if you're a gamer, you can utilize the microphone for these headphones as well. Bluetooth, so you can, I've had conversations with folks when I'm out walking with these headphones on. And so if you want to get either one of these or get both of them, go to Seek.com, CEEK.com. Use the promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. And so that is Seek.com.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right. Y'all know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Illegally selling water without a permit
on my property.
Whoa! Hey!
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
So we ran up against another Karen Gregg in a convenience store. And let's just say, Reese, she got a little bold. She got a little loose with the language. And Erica let's just say she met Layla Ali.
I'm not here, Mary. My husband is right there with his black ass. Okay, I don't give a fuck.
All I said was excuse me.
The fuck? Watch your mouth. Watch your fucking mouth.
I said excuse me.
Okay, I said excuse me, and you gotta have a room with me. You gotta have a room with me. All I give a fuck past you. All I give a fuck past you. You start talking about your black husband. I don't give a fuck about your black husband. Just because you suck black dick don't mean you're not a racist. You can suck all of it. You can call me a nigga all you want to. Beat your motherfucking ass in this store, bitch. Call me a nigga again. Call me a nigga again. Call me a nigga again. Say the word nigga, bitch. I'm the right one. Try it. That's what the fuck I thought. Watch your fucking mouth.
Excuse me.
The wrong nigga. I'm the wrong nigga. I'll beat your ass in this motherfucking store. I'll beat your ass. Say nigga again.
Nigga.
You didn't hear what the fuck I just said, bitch? You didn't hear what the fuck I just said, bitch? Bitch, that's who I'm the right.
You got it.
Let me go. Let me go. You better let me go. I'm gonna hit your ass again. You better let me go. You better let me go, bitch.
Hey, she's down.
Let me go.
I'm sorry to get in the middle, but she's down.
Let me go. 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 Keep calling me a nigger and let me go. So fuck, weird ass bitch. I tell me this bitch all the time. Bitch, I'm the right one. Call 911 and tell them.
Call 911 and tell them, Reese.
Boy, you notice she had the nerve to sit up there and say, all I said was excuse me. No, bitch, you called her the N-word and she mollywopped you as she should. And to the bystander talking about, I hate to get in the middle of it, but she's down. So what? Knock her down some more. Because people need to learn. I'm tired of all these docile videos going viral where people let these white folks talk to them any old kind of way and everybody applauds them for how gracious they are and, oh, you were so poised and, oh, you just kept your composure. No, sometimes you need to knock some sense into some of these folks. And she got the sense knocked into her that day.
Greg, we keep warning them. Y'all gonna run up against the wrong one, and it ain't gonna end well.
Brother, in July 1919, Claude McKay published his poem, If We Must Die, Let Us Nobly Die. And when she says, call 911 and tell them, she's saying, you crossed the threshold where I don't even care about any consequences. Call whoever you want. And like you said, like we've been saying now for years at this point, you've been running crazy ass white people. She said the thing we always say, one day you're going to roll up on the right one. She said, I am the right one.
Right.
I mean, but there's so much going on in that video, brother. I mean, the ironies. Here, this white woman is with a mask on. Here, this sister is without a mask on. And you're looking at this, and so when she hits her, the whole thing is triggered by that white woman standing there, and you can see the wheels turning in her mind. Am I going to make a stand for my white nationalism and call this woman the N-word one more time? And when she finally decides to do it, she gets squared up and gets that two-piece, bang, bang. And like when the man says, she's down, that sister right there has not only put herself in danger, but I'll end with this. Like Claude McKay, when he wrote If We Must Die, it was during the Red Summer, brother. The big conflagration that happened in Chicago that summer, the race war that took place in Chicago, it is attested that they were throwing rocks at a black kid trying to swim in the river in Lake Michigan, and they start throwing rocks at him, and next thing you know, everything sets off. It might be a fist fight like that that sends this country up in flames, brother. That's how close we are.
Absolutely.
So y'all better back up.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, fam, the folks at Seek.com, founded by Mary Spiel, a sister, of course, She is the inventor, the creator of these devices, this virtual reality headset right here. You saw it in the video there. And also the 360-degree 4D headphones. You can actually get these with a discount because they partner with us at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Right here, here's the code, RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. First of all, folks, the headsets are phenomenal. The headphones are absolutely phenomenal. And of course, the VR headset is great because you just pop your phone, put it into the device, and you can actually see video in virtual reality. So it's real cool. Go to seek.com, seek.com, CEEK.com, and use the promo code RMVIP2020.